Here we go.
There we go.
Trades are on again. You get odds, I get evens this week.
Ooh. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked for the Broncos last week.
Yes. You traded up and then traded down, or something. Yeah. Or no, you traded up twice actually. You
For
got
some reason, I
Warren.
thought you traded up with them, but maybe not.
Well,
Maybe
I
you just
think
talked
that
me into it.
yeah, I forget where you traded up to, but I think it was us talking about potentially looking at making a move, and then it was your team, and you were like, "Listen, I'm never gonna," you know.
Yeah. That makes sense. Or
That is a JT Realmuto 2 RBI triple in the top of the 10th. And the Phillies, who scored 3 runs all game, have now put up 4 in the top of the 10th inning.
I love that for you guys.
Things you love to see.
Not for me, but for you.
Well,
We
yes.
just looked at the Padres just scored 3 more, so that's
I
kind of well.
yeah,
Yeah.
I looked at that earlier.
It was high last time I was watching live, but I had to turn it off. So I just looked at the box score. I
Well, I
guess.
think Hector Neris gave up the tying run, and then Bummer came in and just blew the fucking doors off of the game.
What a bummer.
Yep.
What a bummer. What can we
Yep.
do about that?
Not much.
Alrighty here. So fight through my nasally some voice today.
Down with the sickness. Hmm?
That's not as enthusiastic as you're gonna me. If I destroy my voice more. Yeah. So the Titans. Let's see, man. Did we have the Giants trade up last
Yes,
week?
we did. We had the Giants trade up for Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Not because I think it's actually going to happen, but because
Just to play it out because we
Yeah.
finally did trade.
we finally did trades. It was the first time we got to make that happen. I do genuinely think that if the Titans trade out of that one spot, that they're going to need a haul to do so.
It sounds like.
More so than what people were expecting even
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Which is either they've actually talked themselves into liking Cam Ward enough, or maybe they always have, or
Right.
maybe they're just trying to do it to up the price.
Right.
Who knows?
I mean, they've been very involved. They had a private workout with him. Cam Ward, what was the quote? Something about him, like there's going to be no doubt after today or something like that at his pro day.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, you have a chance to sit down and talk with the kid, like in a more private
Mm-hmm.
setting. I think they took him out for dinner or something. Or
Probably.
like a couple coaches did or something like that.
Probably.
So, I mean, obviously they've been digging in on the tape for. I mean, some of those scouts might have been doing it for years now, for all we know, but extensively for the past few months at least. And you're kind of just missing that aspect of like, is this guy gonna be the leader of the franchise? Is he gonna be someone our players are gonna rally behind? Like the aspect you can't really watch from watching tape. Like
Yep.
you can see tendencies of how teammates react to him doing things on tape, but listening to how your teammates talk about you and just asking
Just-
questions in not a combine setting where it's like here you have 10 minutes to talk
Right.
and it's like fast paced and you're trying to just stress them out and just a different, more relaxed. Like you're probably going to get to know who a Cam Ward actually is in that setting too.
Right.
So
The combine interviews are like, we're here to piss you off, and then after that, when you sit
Right.
down with the guy, it's like, okay, let's actually
how you
like
react.
get to know you and treat you like a family member, basically. Because this is
Right.
somebody that we might want to make a member of our future family for however many years. So we don't want to just
Right.
bring somebody in that's gonna be a horrific fit with us. So yeah, I mean, I think that these interviews, and as things get closer, it kind of helps to solidify things to some extent. I mean, there's obviously teams every year that very intentionally avoid meeting with the guys that they're interested in, smoking more mirrors and all that. But there's also teams where they basically telegraph the pick that they're looking to get well before the draft, and then nothing is really a surprise come draft day.
Yeah, and some teams are just already sold on a player too. Like they don't need that meeting, so they don't want to have teams know even more so that they like it. So there's really no point in them having that extra meeting with them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna give the Titans Cam Ward. I just think if they stick and pick, unless the Browns or Giants, and to be honest, I don't think they move past those 3 picks
I would
unless they
agree.
got like something insane.
I think
which
it would.
I don't-
Yeah.
There's
I think.
no team that's gonna pay that. For
Right.
There's just not.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I think
nobody's paying 3 first plus to come up here.
right. 3 first plus, or you're trading a established Let's just
Like Dak
play
Prescott.
this out. Hypothetically, yes, Dak, Purdy, if he doesn't have a contract signed by then, which he's supposedly going to, but just theoretically,
Right. Yeah.
Purdy could be on the move. I don't think that
Tua.
I don't think that Tua. I don't think that
No,
Anthony
Tua.
Richardson.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get anything out of him.
Do we want to play that out? Like I don't. I think that it would take it over. Like I
I
don't
think
think
he
that those guys. It would not be a 1-for-1. Like you're not trading Dak Prescott for Cam Ward in my mind.
No, you'd have to give up more.
Right. You'd have to give up additional draft capital.
Yeah, just because of the age.
And that's for Dak, who I think is better than Purdy. Like if I'm the Titans and I have an offer that involves Dak and it involves Purdy, I'm asking the Niners for way more. Maybe not way more, but at least more excess. And frankly speaking, Anthony Richardson's not happening because it's in division and all that other stuff. But
I can just draft Jalen Milrow.
right.
Anyways, but yeah,
Lock it
I'm
in.
gonna go Cam here. Yeah, we'll lock it in. But I'm curious what's gonna happen too because
So
oh man, I have no idea.
once again, we're going to talk about this. I'm going to bitch about it incessantly. Let's see, actually, before I do this. Yeah, defensive line is still not a need for the Steelers. I don't. Let me just verify. Isaiah McGuire, or Joy Tryon Shawinka, or Agbo Okoronkwo, or Cam Thomas is currently the player slated to line up opposite Myles Garrett. Now,
Not great.
I really don't want the Browns to get one of my favorite players in the draft. And I know that they have other positions that they have a bigger need at. And I do think that there's a world that they could trade back here for a team that might want to jump the Giants for Shedeur Sanders. If the consensus is that the Giants are going to take Shedeur Sanders, which I believe right now it still is. I know that there's weird wavering on that, and it depends on who you ask. I still think the Giants go to Shedeur Sanders today. So maybe the Jets want to come up here. Maybe the
The Raiders are
the Raiders. Maybe
somewhat, yeah.
maybe the Saints decide that they want to give away their cheap players, and give up draft picks to move up. But the Browns have so many shots already in this draft that to me it's more likely that they trade back into the first with this pick 33.
Yeah.
Granted, like I said, the Browns need a lot. So that's not me saying that that's a guaranteed given. But, the Browns need a lot. It feels too early in this particular draft for any of the offensive linemen,
Yes.
even though I think that they have a need there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate them taking defensive tackle either, frankly. Like, if Mason Graham would go here at 2, it wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't.
Tough over. I
It's
know,
tough to take him
just
over
so
Carter.
tough. Carter and Hunter, I just haven't. Man.
I
To
agree
me,
with you. And
I
I think.
love Graham, but it just seems like another tier for me.
Mhm.
Like,
No, I agree with you.
I'm
I
not
think
saying
that the
that
first
it's
4
possible.
players are, and we
But
talked about
you
this
also
before.
have to
The
think-
first 4 players are probably going to be Ward, Shedeur, Hunter, Carter, in some order. I'm not saying that is the order that they go.
And if one of them's going to drop out, it's definitely Shador. I think the other
100%.
three are like locked up.
100%.
Shador's like soft locked.
100%. And frankly, Shador's only soft locked because I still think that I believe that the Giants think, which is a sentence that I don't want to ever have to say again, that Daboll and Joe Shane feel like they've bought themselves the year by adding Russ and Jameis. That they think that they have a situation where they can bring a quarterback in and have them sit for a year behind a veteran, and their veteran is at least going to give them a floor of play greater than what Tommy DeVito and Drew Lock gave them last year.
Okay.
Now, once again, I would like to reiterate that this is me thinking what I believe the Giants think. I think that the Giants could have done no worse in free agency at the quarterback position than Russell Wilson for their situation. I don't think that they have any offensive line that I feel very confident in. I would okay, that's a stretch. I feel good about Andrew Thomas.
I also feel pretty good about.
I like Schmitz enough.
Yeah.
And I like Evan Neal maybe at guard. But Schmitz played bad enough last year that I can't say that I'm very confident. I'm confident, but I'm not very confident. Anyway, with that being said, I still think the Giants are going to want to take their quarterback of the future, and that they think that they patched the hole well enough to get them through this year, and that after the season they go 7-10 and they have enough wins at least that it shows that they had something, that there was a shot that they could have made the playoffs on Thanksgiving, and then it, evaporated in December. And they at least can say, hey, look, these are the building blocks. This is what we're doing. Look at the progress we've made. And that could happen. That could very well happen. Neighbors had a phenomenal year last year. He probably gets killed if Russell Wilson's a quarterback, but he probably also gets killed if Jameis is a quarterback, but at least he gets 5,000 yards doing so.
Yeah. He's gonna have to get getting jump balls though, which is like not like can he do it? Yeah, but
it's not
that's
his
not how you
game.
win with Malik Neighbors. No, that's the freaking little Jordan Humphrey might be getting targets there, or actually Slayton, I guess, might be getting another target there. Well,
I've been rambling for the last 5 minutes to try to get myself out of this.
Spoiler alert: Shador's not going for.
That's fine. I don't hate that.
This week.
I don't hate that.
Just
I would
because I feel like
I'm
we've
okay
been
to see
doing
something
it.
different. That's fine.
Yeah.
Again, the last mock draft that we do, we will probably maybe we each do our own mock, where we go the whole 1 through 32 or something like that, and we try to make it as predictive as possible.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I like that.
I don't know. We'll consider that.
We'll talk about it.
I'm taking Carter, man. I really don't want to do it. It makes me so upset. I really don't want to. But I just think that is the most realistic possibility of what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Carter or Hunter. I think that they're probably going to take one of the other. If I had to guess right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not thinking.
And you made a great argument, by the way, for Hunter last week, and I don't disagree with anything that you said. They could still use a corner in that room. I think that from a fantasy perspective, the Browns might be your best shot at a fit of a guy who...
Also just adding like a star like that. Like
Correct.
A name,
You're adding a huge name.
Cleveland needs something.
Well, Cleveland needs to disavow
Well, they had it
themselves,
in
but that's
Baker,
neither here nor there.
Sure. But yeah, so pretty obvious what I'm gonna do here is gonna go Travis Hunter unless the team is like dying to trade up above the Patriots for some reason, but I don't think that they're good just because they'd be. I don't think anybody's trading up unless one, they just love one of these offensive linemen and they don't want the Patriots to take it, or two, they want Travis. I mean, like, the whole Cowboys thing. Cowboys aren't trading the Giants at 3. I just.
Right.
I know we talked about that already. probably not likely. It's just a fun thought.
Yep.
Besides that, like, I still think the price would be pretty high. Now, if the Giants aren't going to take a quarterback here, do I think Travis Hunter would be nice for them? Yeah, I think they could use corner. I think he's their type of wide receiver they like. It's not listed as a need because they kind of like their room is full of players. Neighbors obviously is their one. Wandale's probably a better three. Like he's kind of like their two, even though I guess Slayton's probably considered their two. But Hunter would be their two, right? If he played wide receiver. Um, so it's not like, oh well, they don't have room for a wide receiver. I mean, he's a starter. He's going to be better than Wandale and Slayton. And then at corner, he's definitely a starter. So, I'm looking to see if I have any teams that would offer them something because I do think that they would probably want to move down a little bit, to try and maybe get that offensive lineman and also get extra capital. I just can't see them doing that over Travis Hunter. I just can't. I think it's way too big of a gap. The offensive linemen are good, but they're not. There's not like a Joe Alt. If there was a Joe Alt in this class, I could make the argument
Right.
for that, sure, and I'd probably do it.
I think the
There's-
closest thing that we have, and that's not actually a really bad comp. The closest thing that we have to a guy that I could see going this high is probably Membu, but I think that his floor is nowhere close to as high as Joe Alt's was. Joe Alt was a plug and play, like day one, he's going to be a very capable starter immediately with upside.
Yeah. And more than likely, he's going to be a Pro Bowl type tackle day one.
Right.
He's
Like
just not a guy like
Joe
that.
Thomas type tackle.
Yeah, exactly. Like
And
almost like can't miss prospect.
right. And Membu I like a lot, and this is not me trying to talk shit on Membu. He's not that same he has probably similar upside in my mind to what Joe Alt has in terms of upside, but his floor
Possibly.
is just not anywhere close to
think-
the same established.
The thing about Membu, which it wouldn't matter for the Giants or the Patriots because they need a right tackle, is could he play left tackle? Maybe, but some guys just can't do both. Like, and there's no way of really knowing that. Like, you can ask him, you can see in drills, but until you put the pads on,
Right.
some guys just can't move that way like that, and he's only done right tackle.
Mm-hmm. So you've just
So a
never
team
seen.
that would-
He might not be able to retrain his brain.
A team that needs a left tackle, especially in the top 10, I probably wouldn't risk that
Correct.
if it was me. But again, for the Giants and Patriots, they need both. Well,
Right.
the Patriots need both. The Giants need a right tackle. But in saying all that, I don't see anybody. I can kind of see the Raiders trading up for Travis Hunter, just because they seem like a guy that would, a team that would, well, it's kind of like a star type of a player. They need wide receiver, they need corner, but I don't know if they would be wanting to give up extra capital when they have multiple holes to fill. But that was another thought I had. But, yeah, if the Giants don't get any phone calls here, I'm gonna give you Travis Hunter. And then the Pats is when it's interesting if Shador doesn't go, because then it's like, okay, I mean, they could go offensive line, they could go defensive line. If they didn't have so many like needs that are pretty substantial, I could see them going Jason here. But I think
Yeah, and that's what I think Daniel Jeremiah said they should do. Actually,
Did you really? Go Ashley Jason.
I think he basically said like, if the Patriots are here and Carter and Hunter are both off the board, why would you not take the best
It's a fair
player
thought.
available? Basically.
I think you have to give Drunk Man a weapon or protection.
Yep.
And I do like
Diggity.
Mason Graham here still. Yeah. And Mason Graham could still have it. But it was the point that I was going to make earlier about Mason Graham going above Carter. Is there's a lot of good edge rushers, but man, there's so many defensive tackles in round 2 and 3 that are good. That are the drop off from Mason Graham to those defensive tackles versus the drop off of Abdul Carter to the edges. In my opinion, the edge drop is more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Which is.
But here's the
Patriots, yeah,
okay. So
sure,
here's the
There's
question.
going to be running backs. There's going to be you know, wide receivers, offensive line too.
So here's the question in my mind: does a team move up here to jump the Jaguars or the Raiders?
I think if somebody's trading up, it would be probably. See, it's tough to say someone trades up for Mason Graham because I do think a lot of these teams are going to have Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, uh, definitely those 4 or 5 guys, decently similarly ranked. Obviously, I have Graham higher, and the consensus does too. But is it going to be far? Like they all do different things well enough that
Right.
it's kind of a flavor thing. So if someone want to spend that much to go get Mason Graham, I'm not sure. So
Right.
maybe if it was a trade within the top 10, and it's just like go get your guy, like even for like Janty, like if someone was afraid for some reason the Jaguars are going to take Ashton Janty because they don't, you know, I think ETN's a free agent after this next year and take Bigsby's just fine, and that I can see them doing something crazy like that. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but them or the Raiders could do that. So if someone like the Bears are just like, we want Janty, we're going to trade up to 4. We have 2 early second-round picks. We could give them one, and they'd probably say yes.
Right.
Kind of tough to trade for a running back, in my opinion, but especially into the top 5.
Yeah, but
the
if there's a
only
team that's
other
going to get
position that I
aggressive
could-
with it, I could see it being the Bears because they've
Yeah.
addressed almost everything in free agency.
Exactly. Yep.
Again, to your point, I think that yes, if a team's trading up here to jump, specifically the Jaguars, it is probably for Graham because the Jaguars have kind of, again, we talked about telegraphing draft picks. Their GM has flat out basically said, like, was asked why they haven't added any interior defensive linemen. He was like, well, there's got to be some place for the rookies to play.
Could be a huge smokescreen, which would be hilariously awesome to do.
It could be, but also, if it is a smokescreen,
know.
who are you playing there?
Well, they'd be taking someone around 2 for sure. They'd have to be locked in there. And there's still be
Which,
someone good,
you know?
but you probably need to draft 2 within the draft,
Right.
which you could do someone decent around 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah.
But I do think it's likely that that's a and if someone takes Mason Graham though above them, I don't know that they take one. I like those other defensive tackles a lot, but I don't know that they take one at 5.
It's fair.
I really don't know. I just don't know that they. I mean, maybe, like Kenneth Grant, maybe, but he's just. I don't know, man. Like, if I'm taking a defensive tackle at 5, I'm gonna be confident that he can also pass rush at a really high level, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree.
I don't think I see that from Kenneth Grant. Like, it would be Derek Harmon, and that's too high for Derek Harmon. And honestly,
I wouldn't
Derek
hate
Harmon's
Walter
my-
Nolan either.
yeah. Well, see, the thing about Nolan is just apparently he has some off-the-field stuff.
Allegedly.
And I think
Allegedly.
that's enough to where I think he probably. I'm not gonna say he's not gonna go like top 15, but I see him probably more so the bottom of the first round.
Right.
If he goes around more. I'm making the bold statement where I was kind of Kenneth Grant my DT2, but I think it's Harmon, man. I've loved Harmon since before the college season was over, and PFF had him ranked at like 70 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just like that pass rush defensive lineman. He's just,
Yeah.
I think he's the best pass rushing defensive lineman.
You just think he's Brandon Dorless.
I think he's better than Bolton a lot, actually. But that's a fair. That's
I
a fair.
know. I'm just calling you out because I'm an asshole.
Oh yeah. Are there any teams that I have? Let me see.
I'll put it to you this way. It's going to be real tough for me not to take Will Campbell here. And yes, I know you can make the argument that Membu plays better there and all this at the 3rd. It's very difficult for me to get past the Mike Vrabel offensive lineman that Will Campbell is. His arms might have grown an inch since the last time they were measured. The person who measured them at the combine might have been drunk. He might have been on the rack every night. I don't really know. He just feels...
You have a phone call.
all right. I'm picking up the phone.
It is John Lynch with the San Francisco 49ers.
I am hanging up the phone.
Too far? Too far away for the Patriots?
Well, let's hear him out.
Okay. They don't want to give up a future one. So start off with that.
Okay.
But looking at what the Patriots need, they're willing to offer Brandon Ayuk and pick 11 to move up to 4, but they just want you to send back because we're giving up Ayuk, who we think is a good wide receiver. not me, but John Lynch does. We're going to ask for 77 back, but we're also going to send you 147.
Okay.
So you move down, you get Brandon Ayuk. You
Yep.
want to move down
7 spots to move
and
back.
then
yeah.
you move back a few rounds from the 3rd round to like the 5th round. 5th, 6th round.
Yep.
5th round, yeah. Gives you guys a wide receiver. I know you got Diggs, but like, come on, he's on a 1-year deal pretty much.
Yep.
You got nobody else. Then you don't have to worry about taking a wide receiver. Round 1 or 2, you could take running back and defensive line and offensive line.
Yep.
If you want to. So.
And again, if I'm the Patriots, I respectfully at this point hang up the phone. And my reasoning for that is because allegedly the Patriots have already internally closed the door on other wide receivers that they could have given more money than what they got for Drake May because they didn't want the target share to become an issue.
That's
Allegedly, they
if
did
before
not
you
pay
hang up-
Devontae Adams and they did not pay
Right.
somebody else. Who was the other big wide receiver that got signed?
Cooper Kupp?
Not him, because
Big.
he definitely wouldn't care about his target
Um,
share. He's a very lunch pail, 1 foot in front of the other.
Who else got signed? I don't know.
Maybe it was a trade. It might have been a trade.
Up with their DK.
Actually, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was DK.
Yeah.
I think it was DK and Devontae Adams. They basically they could have offered more for
Okay.
both of those guys than what they went for, and they elected not to because they didn't want to stunt Drake May's growth by having a wide receiver that would be a diva and complain about their target share. I'm not here to call Brandon Ayuk a diva.
Well,
Necessarily.
you don't have to because I am.
Okay, perfect.
He's a diva. He is a diva. Before you hung up the phone, though, they said, all right, well, we can keep Brandon Ayuk. What if we offered pick 43 and also pick 100? Straight up. And a 3rd next year. 11, 43, 100, 3rd next year.
It gets tempting, but I think that Skoronski believes that Membu doesn't make it to 11 in his mind.
Hear that?
There's something juicy I want to do, though, if that happens.
And you can decline if that's fine.
I really want to decline so I can give him Will Campbell because we haven't done that
Go for it.
much.
Yeah, go for it.
But there's something that I want to do instead with that in mind. So you said 11, 43, 100, and a 3rd next year for pick 4.
Yeah, and you know what? We would even, if you prefer getting a 2 next year instead of a 3, you could send us a 4 back next year.
I'll just stick with a 3 for the sake of the argument. Done.
We-
You're on the clock.
Mason Graham, they need a defensive tackle. They get the best one, the one that fits that system incredibly well.
And on one hand, the Patriots are probably relieved because their offensive line is still not touched yet.
Yep.
Jaguars are probably pissed. I gotta run to the bathroom real quick, actually. But
Probably.
if you want to talk real quick about what you're planning on doing here, what you're thinking, again, if you're talking about any trades or whatever, just go ahead. I'll be back.
Yeah, so 49ers took Graham. We don't really need to talk about that too much, but Them and the Dolphins need defensive tackle probably the most in the draft. I think we talked about that last week. And you can make a case that they have a few other positions. They've lost so much of free agency, so I can see some people being like, the 49ers are not going to trade up that capital to go get Mason Graham. Well, they have extra capital. They have some comp picks and stuff that they got. They've done a pretty good job with that. So they weren't devoid of picks. They had picks to use, which is kind of why I saw them as a possibility. And if it was cheap enough, I know trading up to 4 isn't cheap, but there's no quarterback that's being traded up for, so usually the price is a little lower in that instance. So, um, yeah, they just needed a defensive lineman, and I think that defensive lineman in general, Graham, fits the system that defensive coordinator, Jets old head coach, can't think of his name, Saleh. Yeah, he's a perfect Robert Saleh defensive lineman. So here at 5, the Jaguars are pissed. So I just sniped my own team from taking Mason Graham. I think they have a backup like idea here if for some reason Mason Graham's gone. And I don't think it's defensive tackle. I really don't think it's defensive tackle. I think if you look at the Jaguars depth chart, they did an okay job signing some guys in free agency. Obviously, they didn't touch the defensive line, which what we just talked about. Like they were saving spots for the defensive line for the draft. They added a couple offensive linemen. I think they could upgrade there. I think taking someone. I mean, I'm not a big Walker Little fan. They have him at left tackle. I think he's good enough. I think their offensive line. I think they think their offensive line's good enough. So they probably won't touch offensive line here. Could I see them going Will Campbell just to get like a best offensive lineman available, stick him somewhere? I think he would start day one, either over Robert Hainsey or Patrick McCarry. Personally, I think he's going to be better than both. And he could eventually move out to tackle over Walker Little. And I think I would like that move if that's the route that they wanted to go. I would understand that. I know I just talked some crazy nonsense about them possibly taking JT at 5. I don't think that's likely, but at the same time, with the way that good old Liam Duval over there wants to run that offense, I think Ashton Jeanty would be an incredible thought for them because without Bucky Irving last year, I'm not sure that the Bucks offense is as lethal because man, Rashad White. I was wanting to say Ronald Jones. That's crazy. Rashad White is he's not a good in between the tackles runner. He's a good third down, catch the ball back. And he can't get yards on the inside of the offensive line, like running inside zones and stuff like that. So he when they gave Bucky those carries, you could really see a difference in the way the offense ran. It gave Baker the options to kind of spread the offense out a little bit. So I don't think it's crazy if Graham got sniped from them that they went Ashton Johnson. They were just like, you know what, we'll snipe the Raiders here, or, maybe the Bears, who one of those teams possibly hoping for him to fall. It's very tempting for me to do that.
I'm back now.
Okay. I don't think I'll trade. I don't think there's going to be a trade and then another trade. Could it happen? Yeah, but I don't want to get too trade crazy. Not sure when you got back, but I kind of talked through some needs that I think that they could have that I wouldn't think it was crazy. Offensive line, I think they could still upgrade. Man, I'm stuck between 2 players, and they're 2 players that our boy Jew's gonna hate this pick because it's gonna overshadow one of his favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give him Tyler Warren. Fine.
Well, I hate you. Officially.
I mean, look, okay. Prince Strange is fine, man. He looks fine.
Tyler Warren is who I wanted to take for the Patriots at 11 when I said I was going to trade down because I felt like he was going to be there. So.
Well, you get sniped, you gotta snipe someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It is what it is.
I almost took JT just because I thought it was a hilarious thought, and I don't think it's impossible if they got sniped.
I
They're just
do
like,
honestly still think too.
let's
Before
take
you
the
get
best
done,
player on the board.
yeah.
You know,
But I could also see a world where their best player on the board is Tet because I think,
yeah.
or I
Yeah,
mean,
for
it's
sure.
probably early for Golden, but again, you and I both have Golden above Tet, so like, is it really?
Yeah,
But again, we're
yeah.
talking
I
about a
mean,
big frame wide receiver,
I think they could use Tet more for
right?
for them probably.
But there's a world
Um,
also, by the way, that Tyler Warren plays the slot and Brenton Strange still is on the field. So like,
correct, correct. That's the thing. It adds to that offense. Like they they want to be creative. They could. I mean, just run two tight end sets. Like if you don't add another really good wide receiver,
yep,
have both those guys out there. And Brenton Strange is fine if he does not stop me from taking
no,
top four.
100%.
You know, so I don't know that I've seen that before. I think if they get sniped and Graham was the guy that they wanted, um, they're just going to take one of a couple guys that are like the best, probably players on their board. I mean, I'm not sure if that would be Warren, but I have Warren in my like top 6 for sure. So
If
maybe
we're
in my top 5.
if we're talking about best overall players without positional value, Warren is the top 3 player probably for me.
I would have
Top
JT
4.
above them, but by
Top 4.
one slot maybe.
Yeah.
I think
It's
I
Genty,
think
Carter, Warren, and Hunter in some order. Probably is my top 4, personally.
I agree.
I don't know what that order is because I don't want to think about it right now, and this drink is too strong for me to do that. So
Fair, fair. But yeah, we're gonna go with Tyler Warren.
done.
Good old Raiders.
I still hate you. The Raiders could use a handful of things.
Indeed.
By a couple things, I mean a lot of
None
things.
them. So they fumble.
All right. So who would the Jets take here? And could we see a trade? The Jets probably take Shador at this point. The Raiders could take Shador at this point, actually.
Maybe. Possible. Not impossible.
What was the trade for Geno again? What did they give up? Like a 3?
3 or 4, but they gave him. I think it was at least a 2-year guarantee, right? Which I know doesn't matter if we draft a rookie. They get Kirk like the huge contract.
Right.
Yeah.
I could take Genty here. Part of me wants to do that. But I've heard that allegedly they're interested in trading for Kenny Walker.
Saw that.
Allegedly.
They were also interested in Kenny to become that guy.
Allegedly.
Maybe they did try. I don't know.
I think they were attempting to. I think that he might have nixed it or
DK
something.
probably said no.
Yeah. So they take Ted McMillan, who's the closest thing that is here to DK. I could actually see that. It's hard for me to take a quarterback at 6 here because they drafted O'Connell 2 years ago, and no, he hasn't been anything special, but there was still a level of investment into him, and they have Geno and all this at the third, right?
Yeah, and we've talked about a better class next year. Like, maybe they think they're going to be good next year, but like, pretty easily. I mean, I think they're pretty easily the 4th best team in that division.
At this point, I mean, yeah.
I just don't have it. Like, not even trying to be biased. Like, I just don't think they have it. They don't have enough talent to be not 4. Like,
I like some of the moves that they made on defense. I like adding Jeremy Chin. I like adding Elandon Roberts. I don't hate adding Geno and Mostert personally, but I mean your wide receiver room is terrible. I mean I can't think of a better way to put it. If Trey Tucker, when he put his hands around the ovular object that is a football, could actually catch the thing, he could be tremendous. I mean his separation skills, his speed is great, but he legitimately can't catch a pass.
One job.
Which is, yeah, like you said, the only thing that he's on the field to do, which is a really, really bad beat, honestly. It's like that Norm Macdonald joke. I shouldn't be telling this joke. That Norm Macdonald joke about, you know which one I'm talking about. How he, OJ said that he would die for.
Yeah.
He goes,
It's true.
"What a cruel day when the one guy who would die for you kills you." Anyway, like Jacoby Myers is okay, right? He's a dude, he's a guy, but he's just a guy, and he's a fine just a guy as a wide receiver 2, as a slot guy, as a wide receiver 3. He's great, honestly. I would love Jacoby Myers as a wide receiver 3. If the Steelers could make a move for Jacoby Myers where we gave up nothing and got him, I would do it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if they would take Golden. He has speed, and it's the funny thing for me to do because it's the Raiders.
I can see that.
But I think that they've been lacking that big frame, and I know that Devontae had a relatively decent-ish frame, but I don't think that they've really had a big frame guy like that. I mean, even at tight end, they don't have that. Brock Bowers is a phenomenal pass-catching tight end. He's a phenomenal guy, but he's really a slot receiver. I mean, he's not tall. He's, 6'3"? Yeah. 6'3" and 1 inch.
Wait. Brock Bowers?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Yeah. I mean, they don't have to draft an outside wide receiver like an X, because they can move Bowers around. But I think they could.
Well, okay, here's my point, though. Like, Jacoby Myers is best suited in the slot, in my mind. I think he can play outside, but he's best suited in the slot. Bowers, you could maybe put outside, but he's probably best suited to play a slot-type role. Or in the backfield, or whatever. Like, he can do a whole bunch of different things, and I understand that, fundamentally. But I think I'm just going to do it. We haven't had Tet go this early in a while, and maybe that's indicative of a shift here, but we also did something different with the Giants pick just for the sake of doing something different. So I'm just going to lock it in. Tet stays in the Arizona, Nevada area, stays in the desert, I guess is a better way to put that.
Yep.
And goes to Vegas.
I like it. I think it's definitely possible. That brings the Jets, where I know you said that they could go Shador, but I do think that's possible. I had something I wanted to do though. Let me see. Yeah, dude. Might have done this if I could find it already. But I'm giving the number. I can't do it. I think either I have or you have. But I just think, and I think you made this point, like, Fields doesn't stop you from taking Shador, but I think that maybe they want to give him an actual chance. And if you draft Shador at 7, it's just like, hey, we don't think you're our guy already. And I don't think
it's a bad message to send. I agree.
Right. And it'd be different if Fields was like 32 or something. Like
Fields also, one of the reasons why he allegedly didn't commit to the Steelers is because he just wanted them to tell him that he's the guy.
Correct. And the Jets probably told him. Probably.
And frankly, again, the Jets could be like, "You are the guy. Look at Shador's tape last year.
Sure.
He looks like booty
then-
cheeks. So like, you're still
Yeah.
the guy."
True.
But
The Jets need a right tackle. I don't care. They have Chooks. The rest of their offensive line is actually pretty solid. I won't lie.
mhm.
I think because right tackle is the need, and what we just talked about, Membu being, I think, probably the best pure right tackle in the draft. You can make a case for Campbell just because he can move around. You kind of have that player in Vera Tucker already.
Yep. You also have that
So-
player in John Simpson, kind of. You also have that player in Josh Newman.
Yeah. Josh Myers,
Sorry, what did I say?
Josh Newman.
I read
I
Xavier
believe
Newman's
you.
last name because I'm an
Yeah.
idiot.
I believed you for a second.
Newman.
But yeah, I think they just want to like the GM coming from the Broncos. Like the thing that we've been big on is making sure offensive line is set, and we've been better since we've taken care of that. Aaron Glenn came from the Lions. That was like their main priority is trenches, like making sure that line is better than the other teams. So I just think they're gonna focus on that. It just seems too hard for me to pass up there.
Well,
Lock it in.
the phone might be ringing.
Well, I mean, I always pick up the phone, even though I already clicked on a mock draft, but I can fix it. Well, okay, hang on. What's the area code, or who's calling?
I could
It
see.
depends on who's calling.
Well, I would love to say that the Patriots are calling, but that's you've already declined the call.
Correct. I have.
Dallas is on the
Hey.
phone.
After the Patriots,
It is after the Patriots.
though. I mean, yeah, I think I would definitely pick up. I'm not gonna not pick up. What are the Cowgirls wanting to offer here? We got a couple minutes left on the clock. You gonna blow me away?
Cowboys are going to offer 12,
Okay.
a 2026 second, and pick 76. And they're going to get back pick 145.
I think for the sake of the mock, and also for the sake of, I think that
I'm good either way. I think that a team, and the reason why I want to just bring this up, I think that a team could move up here for Gent. Yes, is it weird to trade up for a running back in the first round? Yes, I get that. I don't think that the Cowboys have a chance of getting Genty if they don't move up here. Now, if the Cowboys are content getting Shador, they can probably sit back and wait, because do the Panthers really need Shador? No. But they can probably trade up with the Panthers instead of the Jets and give up a little bit less, because the Saints could take him. Saints have a lot of needs, so they probably shouldn't take him, but they could. Bears and Patriots definitely don't. So at this point, if you're the Cowboys, you're kind of sitting pretty at 12, because you have a relatively decent shot at Shador.
yeah, technically. Let me fix my mock draft real quick.
Well,
And you can talk.
now I'm trying to talk myself out of this. Does Jerry actually trade up for Ashton Genty when they've allegedly been saying that they're not focused on a running back at the first pick?
Yeah, but does he even know what he's talking about? He probably doesn't even remember who said that.
That's true. Or does Jerry move up for Shador because Dion has called him and said, my
If
boy
they
should
move up
not be
for
going outside of
Shador-
the first 6 picks?
If they move up for Shador, they're moving up to 2 first.
Well,
And
I
they
know
trade
they're
away
gonna. I know.
Dak.
I know that that's
And then they're
probably
gonna
something.
draft. And then they're going to draft Travis Hunter at 2, and then they're going to move up, not have to give their 12 pick because they gave Dak, and they'll give the future first or whatever else. Then move up their 12 if they have to, go get Shador also. And then Dion's a coach next year. And that's what's
Well, you want to restart this?
going No, that could be a 2 week thing from now. That would be funny though.
I don't hate this scenario. Maybe we just stick with it. Maybe the Jets just take their guy here.
Up to you. I already have another mock draft running where I fixed it. I have them back to back next to each other just in case. So I have two out there. So you can either do it or not.
Well, what are your
I think
thoughts from
so.
the Jets' perspective? I guess let's hear that
Yeah.
out first.
So if I was the Jets here, if they're sold on Membu, I think they would probably need a pretty good package. If they move to 12, I guess it depends on how they view Campbell if he makes it there, how they view Simmons, like is Simmons' health come back strong enough to where they'd be comfortable with him being the right tackle? Because I do think they really want to get tackle now. 'Cause, I mean, they have to. No, they have other needs, so maybe they're like, we're fine moving down. We can get one of these defensive linemen. We can get maybe a wide receiver. There's going to be other guys that they could definitely use. But I think with the scheme that they're going to run and kind of what I said before about them really wanting to build up the trenches, if Membu's kind of like their guy and they've bought into him being their guy and pretty positive he's going to make it, and he does make it, I think they probably make the pick unless they got a good enough offer. So it honestly probably would have to be the Cowboys' second at least, and then maybe even a 2 next year plus. And then so, and I don't know that Jerry would make that, but I do
Yeah.
think they would probably need a decent amount because
I don't disagree, but I think Jerry is the kind of guy that he gives an offer, and if you rebuff his offer or counter it, he just says no.
right. So we could just roll with
Let's
Membu
just
for
go with
sure.
it.
I mean,
Yep, Membu it is.
okay, sweet. It was a good thought. All right, so you're up to Carolina.
Did Micah Parsons get paid yet? Hypothetically, I don't remember. I think he
No.
did, right? No.
Parsons? No.
Hmm.
Not that I know of, unless I missed it like today or something.
Hmm.
You said Micah Parsons with the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think they'll drag that out. They always drag it out and then have to overpay. 'Cause
Yeah, they do. But what if they don't have to?
They train him.
Yeah.
I feel like they trade him. They're gonna want to try to trade him and get like the Browns pick or something, right?
Yeah.
Get harder.
They need
Like
to
who's
stop.
here that would be enough for them to give up Parsons? I just don't know.
Nobody.
Good players, but for Parsons, for what he's already proven,
Yeah, I mean, if you're trading Parsons, you're probably trying to get.
they would
Carter.
need a first here and a first next year from the team, at least.
Yeah.
If Khalil Mack's going for what? When he was younger, he went for like 3 firsts. And we've talked about this multiple times. It was like 2 firsts plus, or almost 3 firsts. But if he's going for that much, then I think Parsons probably should too. As much as I hate the Cowboys.
He was
Maybe
traded.
Parsons.
The Raiders traded Mack, a second-round pick, which turned into Cole Kmet, and a conditional 2020 fifth-round pick, which turned into a seventh-round pick, to the Bears for 2 2s, a 6, and a 3.
Is that the first time?
Sorry. 2 1s, a
Okay.
6, and a 3.
Yeah, okay. I still think Parsons would have to go for 2. Even if they trade up to 2, like, and took Carter or something instead, or whoever, Travis Hunter, I think they would probably need more than just the second overall pick for Parsons.
Yeah.
Personally. Well, I mean, I guess the argument would be like, then that team has to pay him. So maybe that would, I don't know, it didn't really
That's
make
what I'm
sense
saying.
on Khalil, though. And Mack
Well,
doesn't need to be paid.
Maybe it did. I mean, at the time,
Yeah, but
he
it
was
was-
playing
But it
like.
was still 2 firsts.
He was the reigning
plus.
defensive player of the year, wasn't he, when he got traded? Am I making that up?
Maybe, or maybe he was like the sack leader or something like that. I don't know.
Could be.
Definitely possible.
All right. So the
but
Panthers trade Rico Dowdle back to the Cowboys for pick 12. It's so hard
I
to
think
just
they give
not
a weapon
give them
to
Shamar Stewart, dude.
Evero. Like they just need a defensive menace. Like
Right,
so
but Micah Parsons would be sick.
for sure if they could afford it, but they're not trading a future first yet. They've already gotten the crap into that
That's
recently.
true.
So I think they would be hesitant to do that.
It's hard to not give them Shamar, dude.
Here's my thing with Shamar. Like, I think sometimes I think about it and I'm like, I'm a hypocrite because I don't love, what's his name, Michael. And you can make an argument that both those guys
Are
are
very
similar
similar
in
players.
terms of like.
They
you're
don't have a ton of
projecting.
they don't have a ton of
They're bu-
production, but they're both
I-
very athletic guys.
Correct. I think Michael, though, in my opinion, the way that he plays, he's not as bursty. Like, he's more of the run defender versus Shamar has the athleticism. Like, Michael's still athletic, but it's kind of a different type of athleticism.
Right.
Shamar just has the pass rush potential.
Right.
I struggle with him because it's like I think projecting he probably deserves to be a top 10 pick, and then I've been giving him to I think the Panthers two or three times now,
Yeah.
at least twice because the fit's just awesome. I talked about Julius Peppers and all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also one of those players where it's like teams might just it's so risky to use a top 10 pick on a player like that because he could end up just being okay. Like he might not be an elite passer. But if you believe in your coaching staff and the player, then I think he's definitely worth it. Like if you believe in this guy to work hard enough to get to the point where he is getting that production and I don't know, like obviously I love that fit, but I just want to kind of talk about that because I thought about that a couple days ago. I was like, I don't like Michael that much. Like not as much as people are saying he should be a top 10 pick, and that's kind of cooled down a little bit. But a few months ago, he was like everybody's putting him in the first 10 picks,
Right.
and I just didn't see that.
Right.
But I also could understand how people can say that about Shamar. I guess that's what I was kind of.
I've changed my mind.
Okay.
The Patriots are calling the Panthers
Okay.
and offering 11, the 2 next year, and pick 69 this year for 8 and 111.
Say that one more time. We're offering 11.
11 and 69 and a second
Okay.
in 2026
Okay.
for pick 8 and 111.
That's probably decently fair. There's a good chance the Panthers would probably ask for 43, but for the sake of the mock, it doesn't really matter. I think it's close either way. Like it's only a few picks, I guess. It's only from 8 to 11, so maybe you are right there.
Right. It's 3 picks. It's later
It's-
in the first. I'm also
it's
trying to
close.
think, like,
It's close.
what was the Steelers trade up for Rod?
Yeah, but that was way later in the draft, though. You know, not
Kind
saying
of.
that you can't compare at all, but
I know, but it was
I
they
think-
moved up more
I think
picks.
that's a
I'm
fair
saying.
offer. I think what you have now is fair. Plus, it doesn't really matter. It's just a mock.
Oh, I guess
And
they
I
didn't.
think it's
I
close.
guess it was from 17 to 14. But still, like it was only 17 and 120 for 14, which granted the Patriots also took less to screw over the Jets, but
Yeah.
I forgot
That was
about
it.
that.
The Jets.
Yeah, the Jets picked at 15, I think.
Yeah,
And
but
they
they
took-
got Olu.
Was it?
They got Olu last year.
Yeah, but it's 2023, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry. D-Rod, yes. Sorry. I don't know why I was thinking of last year. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah, we traded up. The Jets picked
I
at
was thinking
15,
about
and they knew that we were taking Broderick, who they thought the Jets wanted, so they traded back. And they still got
Yeah.
Christian Gonzalez because the Commanders threw and took
Very
Emmanuel
good.
Forbes, morons. Anyway,
Something.
I'm going to force it.
Yep,
And the
let's do it.
Patriots take the guy that they might have taken at 4 anyway, in Ashton Genty.
Ooh, spicy. Vrabel gets his workhorse running back.
Vrabel gets his workhorse running back. He jumps the Saints, who could probably use him. He jumps the Bears, who could probably use him.
Yeah.
Panthers move back a little bit, pick up a whole bunch of draft capital. And once again, I'm just going to spoil this preemptively. Shamar Stewart most likely doesn't go to the Saints. Most likely doesn't go to the Bears. Could. I'm not saying he doesn't,
Could.
but most
He is
likely
a
doesn't.
Saints type of player.
He is
but-
a Saints type of player, but the Saints have enough other needs, I think, that it would be very tough to justify taking him at pick 9.
They're good with that.
So the Panthers feel fairly confident that maybe they like Mike Green and Shamar Stewart about the same. And if you want to throw Mike Hill into that conversation, you can do that. Maybe they have a couple other guys. Maybe they like Matt Golden enough, and they have 3 guys that they rate all about the same that they could have taken at 8, and they are not at all interested in taking Ashton Genty, and they know that's who the Patriots are coming up for. That they say, okay, we'll move back. We'll pick up whatever basically you're going to give us at this point just to make the trade happen. And then let the Saints do what the Saints want to do. Now, is it also a weird one because the Saints are now in a situation where they get to snipe their division rival? To an extent, yes. And maybe that's something the Saints now have to think about as they're picking here, but
Well, the Saints already know what they're doing unless someone's going to call. There's 2 things I was thinking of. I don't think it's either one of the things you were thinking of.
well, I have a... Hold on. Let me pull the Saints depth chart before I speak out of turn. But I think that they would have
I mean, there's
severe
different ways that
interest
they can go.
in keeping a player in Louisiana to start.
Yeah, which is something, but it's not what I was going to do. But that was my first thought, for sure. I was like, oh, it's going to be
I could also see them going...
It's kind of spicy, but I just think I recently watched some. Wasn't all 22, but it was like broken down film. You
Mhm.
call them clips because you love clips.
Mm.
Of this player, like extensive, like it was like almost an hour worth of just his plays. Good, it had good and bad. It wasn't just highlight thing, but it's a player that they have that's older, and I just think this player is going top. I just have a feeling he's going to.
Alright, so you're looking at the Cam Jordan replacement?
No, but that's a good thought.
You're looking
I think I'm going to give him
the-
Jihad.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give him
Mario Davis
Mario
replacement.
Davis is 36. Yeah, he's 36.
Is he? He's 36?
Yep.
That's not real. That's not. Nope. Nope. That's fabricated.
He is 36. He's old.
Dude.
1989.
How old is Tyrann Mathieu? He's 32. Dude, the
like
Saints
32 or something.
How are the Saints?
Yeah.
First of all, how do the Saints have money to spend? How are the Saints not completely cooked as a franchise? How are the Saints not the reason
40
for
years,
every
baby.
natural disaster that's ever happened in New Orleans? Oh my
Really
god.
good.
Okay, anyway. Okay.
Jihad Campbell is a freaking monster. Okay, I'm gonna give him Jihad. He has
I
pass
like
rush ability.
I like
He
it.
has-
Jihad
we-
is
we
also what the
talked about-
Saints fans are going to do in New Orleans this year when Derek Carr starts on opening day.
Yeah, there it is.
I probably can't say that on YouTube, actually. I probably should be careful.
No, you're just saying his name. They're,
Right.
They're gonna chant Jihad.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not gonna explain it too much. I just think he's an awesome player. I think it's a player that they need. I'm kind of projecting him going. I said top 12. I said like top 16. I think he's gonna go the top first half of the draft.
Right.
I think he has some buzz, which made me watch some more on him just to kind of look at it. And he's a fun player. If he somehow fell to 20, I know linebacker isn't a huge need for us anymore. Man, I would not be mad at it. I'll just say that. Wouldn't be mad at it.
That's
Him
fair.
and Dre Greenlaw would be pretty sick.
Sick, dude.
But the Bears are up now. I'm curious
Bears are up. I have 3 picks in a row here.
Oh yeah, you would. Yeah. Good chance for me to use the restroom. I'm gonna die.
Word. So I talked about this last week. The Bears are in a position that they could take the Kevin Byard replacement. Malachi Starks, I think, would be sick in that defense as a Joker type role, in that Dan Campbell type system. With Genty going, I don't think they consider running back at 10. I like Hampton and Henderson as much as the next guy. I just don't think that that's something that's on the table at this point. Defensive line, I think, is certainly on the table. We haven't seen one go since Graham, so they could take Grant, they could go Nolan, whoever they feel most confident in of this group, they could take. Alexander looked sick at his at the Senior Bowl. I don't think he's really the Lions type of guy, and I'm saying Lions because of the Brian Johnson fit, and I know that their defensive coordinator has differences. The defensive coordinator is Dennis Allen, isn't it?
Not to interrupt you, but I literally sat down, put my headset back on, and came back to you saying something about the Lions. I was like, is he making a trade up with the Lions here? He's screwing the crap out of me.
No.
Dennis Allen was with the Saints, who was maybe with Dan Campbell.
Right.
If that's what you're asking.
Well, I was just thinking about the general schemes, and I feel the same way about the Saints defensive linemen that I do about the Lions, frankly, where I don't think that Darius Alexander is necessarily their type of defensive tackle. I think he's a dog, not. But I'm
honestly, I have a spicy kind, not spicy, but I think if they're picking a D lineman, I actually think I know which one they might take.
I could see them going Harmon.
It feels too early, but I do like the pick.
I'm also wondering, hypothetically, with Membu going as early as he did, are the Dolphins picking up the phone here?
The only reason, maybe,
actually, how many picks do they even have?
The only reason why I say maybe not is because I think there's 2 positions that they need, and one of them is defensive tackle, and I think it's maybe even more defensive line. They do have picks to spend. They have a lot of later picks.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's crazy. Like if they love Will Campbell, and honestly, Will Campbell would be sick for the defensive line because they need guard or tackle.
Right.
So
that's
I don't
what I
hate
was
that
looking
at all.
At specifically.
And they could get defensive tackle second round, but I guess it depends on what they'd have to give up. Because their defensive line, I remember looking at it.
It's bad. Granted, if Calais Campbell comes back, it looks a lot better.
Sure. Right now it's Matt Dickerson and nobody else at left end.
Hell
and
yeah.
then it's Zach Seiler at right, who's good, but nobody else.
Hell yeah. I like that for them a lot,
Benito
actually.
Jones at nose.
I think they're set.
Yeah. So, hypothetically, I think if the Dolphins were to pick up the phone, they would be like, look, this is all we could give. We could give 98, 13, obviously, and then like a 4 next year at most. I don't think they give up a 3. So I think, again, they have so many needs. So what, that's a, is that a third, like a late third?
Yeah, comp third. Technically, they're only third because they traded their third.
Yeah. So a late third, and then a 4 next year, which 3 spots, maybe that's not enough. Maybe it is. I think they, so 98, like 224, and also they have a bunch of them. They'd probably be fine giving up, and the Bears could use.
Let's flip it and go 116 this year, the third for next year, and then 224. Bears get their own pick back.
Done. Make it happen. Dolphins take Will Campbell. We don't need to talk about it too much. They need offensive line. They need defensive line. Will Campbell's arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft. You could use him tackle or guard. They need both. I think it's just a huge upgrade for them and keeps Tua healthy. And the zone run offense that they like to use, Campbell would be, especially
Sick.
at guard, would be sick for them.
Disgusting.
Because he's so athletic. So yeah, that's a good point. But now you're back up again with three. Three picks.
Back up again with 4.
Four picks in a row. All right.
All right, let's just speed run this.
See myself out.
Shamar Stewart to the Panthers, who they might have taken earlier, and they get him here.
Yep.
I want to give him Mike Hill. I want to give him Mike Green. You might have given him Mike Green last week. I'm not going to talk myself out of Shamar. It's now at 11. He's no longer a top 10 pick. You don't have to worry as much about the potential of him to bust. Done. At 12. I don't want to give him Golden, but
Do
I'm going to
it.
give him Golden. And I'm not going to do it. 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 Nope. I'm not going to do it. I could see them going edge here too, and just securing their future if they feel like Parsons might be gone.
Yep.
And honestly, even if they don't think that Marcus Parsons is gone, they have Dante Fowler.
Yeah, they lost Dexter Lawrence.
Right. No, it's DeMarcus Lawrence.
That one. Oh, my bad.
I was, by the way, I didn't realize that I was actually saying the right name. Regardless of what you said, I was going to say the other one, and then it was after I said it that I was like, oh wait, I'm actually right.
Yeah. Totally not calculated.
Yep. The lob and dunk right there on the alley-oop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's tough for me not to take a wide receiver here. But when you have CeeDee Lamb, you can elevate the play of Jalen Tolbert and Jonathan Mingo enough. Which, again, Jonathan Mingo looks a lot better as a wide receiver 4 than a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3.
Perfect.
But I think that there's a guy here in round 2 that lets you not do that.
Okay. Yeah, probably. He feels like a cowboy to you.
Mike
That's why I
Green.
asked myself. Yeah. Definitely see it.
Michael Williams. Does he have a DUI yet?
No.
Oh.
Maybe
Never
they
mind.
go with Walter Nolan.
Mike Green has character concerns, right? Something popped back up
Possibly,
with him.
yeah.
I think some
sure.
previous allegations. Yeah, Mike Green. Done. I'm flying through these 4 picks here as fast as I can.
No, I think we're done.
Bears are back on the clock. They thought about taking Starks at pick number 10. They almost did it.
Yep.
And he's still here now.
He is.
So they take Derek Carmen.
Let's go. My boy.
Now the Saints are on the clock. And by the Saints, I mean the Colts.
Just get the crap out of this. What
I'm
You gonna go with the chalky
sedated.
pick?
I could do that.
It's the Bo Nix, the Broncos pick from last year. Although, actually not really, because he fits them, but with Richardson there, I don't think it's like, oh, well, he's perfect for the system. Yeah.
Right. That's why I don't want to do it. I like him too much to do that.
Yeah.
Laquan Treadwell is definitely going to stop me from doing that. So is Adonai Mitchell.
As they should.
So is Albert O.
As he should. So good. Who do they have at safety? Did they just pick like maybe Oregon?
They just signed Cam Bynum to that deal.
Oh yeah.
And they have Nick Cross as strong safety, who I think they feel pretty good about.
That's fair.
I have wanted to do this for 4 weeks now and haven't done it yet. And it is a horrible pick. It is a legitimately terrible pick. Oh, Shador Sanders is still on the clock. He's
I
still on
know.
the board.
I was thinking, does someone need to trade up?
Damn.
Or I mean, I don't think.
I
think this
almost
is-
thought about giving Shador to
this
the
is
Saints, but
possible.
it's not my pick this week. The problem is
thought
the
was
only
red.
team that really needs to move up for a quarterback at this point is the Steelers, and I would be pissed if the Steelers traded up from 21 to 14 to take Shador. I could see the Seahawks doing it because they'd only have Geno or they only have Darnold for a year. In reality. But if the Seahawks are the only thing standing between the Steelers and Shador, I would rather them just wait until 21 and take them.
Yeah, I think it would depend on the price. Like for some reason, it was just not that expensive. I think it would be fine.
I'm taking Maxwell Harrison.
But-
I know it's a horrific reach, but he killed the combine. I know the Colts took Travarius Ward. But Jalen Jones, they don't have that much invested in. I know they have a good amount invested in Juju Brents, and I think they probably like those guys enough. Kenny Moore's your nickelback. Ward, I think, could play that role for you. And I think the Colts just don't make great decisions all the time. So I'm just going to do it. It's a terrible pick. It's a horrible pick, but I need to do it at least once. This feels like the mock where we're just kind of running through and we're saying this isn't going to happen, but I want us to call it at least once. This is the mock draft where nothing is completely unrealistic. I'm not taking a 7th round pick here in the first round, but we're taking guys that should probably not go where they are, but just so we have it recorded that when something crazy happens on draft day, we can go back and point to this exact episode on March 27th and say, "See, we knew this was going to happen."
Although, yeah.
The fact that there's Will Johnson and Jahdae Barron on the board,
It's true.
and they take Maxwell Harrison is horrendous.
I didn't think
Taking
about
Maxwell Harrison over Trey Amos and over Savon Ravel is terrible.
I think Harrison is comparable to those last two you said enough,
But it's the
first two,
Colts.
he should not be taken over Barron and Jones.
No, he shouldn't, but
But-
he is this time
But
because
I'm
it's the
not
Colts.
judging. I like it because it's beautiful.
Yep.
I treated my boy Peyton wrong. Actually, not really. Not really. Not really getting Andrew Luck, but anyways. Okay. I wonder if somebody wants, if somebody thinks the Cardinals are going to take one of his corners. Or they move up. Is there a team that move up there?
Well, also though,
Because Barron is falling.
Yeah, but he fell last week for us too.
Yeah, I think one of those guys is probably going.
Does Clark Phillips or Mike Hughes really stop you from taking a cornerback? If you're
I
the
thought
Falcons?
about it. I definitely thought about going Barron. That's the one that I probably just because he could be used in such a creative way.
Right.
And Raheem would like that. He could, play the safety a little bit. I actually think Barron is his best year was playing outside corner. Like last year, he played outside corner. It was his best year. So it's like the Trent McDuffie thing. Everybody said he had to play slot. Well, he's not. He's not playing in the slot. He's playing everywhere.
Yep.
Different players, but similar situation.
Yeah.
But no, if I stuck a pick for sure, I was definitely going to pick between Barron or Izaraki, because I think Izaraki is the edge that Raheem can
Yep.
one of the best character guys in the draft. He's safe, he's productive, high motor, one of the better first steps. Can also defend the run like that. That's probably what I was gonna probably do that over Barron because I was kind of had my eyes set on that a few picks ago. Whenever your 4-pick thing started, I was just telling myself that Izaraki's still there. Like the direction I was gonna go. But Barron is interesting because I think he's a better player, a prospect. Will Johnson also. I still think he's probably a better prospect in my eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see anybody that would be like desperate to trade up this far. So I'm just gonna give him. He's a rock with these corners and fall a little bit. I just like it too much. Yeah, I I just like that fit in the Cardinals. I mean, they don't have to. They can go defensive or center or guard, so they might not even do it. But if they want to, they have the choice of whatever DB they want.
You're taking Will Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's.
It just feels like more of the Cardinals type pick.
I agree. I think if he's there, that's probably they'd be ecstatic to get him. So, all right. You did lock that in, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right. Start talking over you.
Nope, you're good. Over to you.
The Bengals. They're gonna take Matthew Golden.
I could see it.
No. Yeah. If they take offensive line or anything on defense, they're shit.
Well,
I know what you're gonna say. They're shit. I probably would have gone Derek Carr for him. I'm thinking about Kenneth Grant. Barron, I could definitely make a case for just because he might be the best defensive player on the board. Starks as well. I don't know if we did this or talked about it. I still think Zabel has the chance to be maybe the best center or interior offensive lineman in the class.
mm-hmm.
Besides maybe Will Johnson or Will Campbell. I think those two are probably the best interior guys in the class by far, in my opinion. So I can see them going Zabel. I just think they need to get defense. The tough thing for me is there's some good tackles that could possibly play guard later, and there's a couple good guards like Ratledge, and then there's some shots though, like guys that could develop.
Right.
Jared Wilson is probably up there with Ratledge and like Booker, obviously, like those. But if you miss on those guys, like they're not there in the second round, especially Booker and Ratledge. I think Wilson probably will be. He's more of a third round guy for me. But if you miss on the interior guys there, I don't feel great about Ted Karras, Portal Wilson, and Cody Ford. Cody Ford, I think, can hold his own. The other two, I don't like it.
Yep.
Especially Volson, who his rookie year looks pretty good for being, I don't remember what pick he was. He was a later pick. But for where he was picked, he played well. But I think what he showed his rookie year was kind of the ceiling already. Like, that's just who he is. He's not going to grow anymore.
Fourth round pick in 2022.
Right, so it's been a couple of years. And he's, if anything, maybe he was worse than he has been. So I don't feel great about it. But I'm between Barron and, because I just think they need someone on defense to make a play.
Yep.
And you can make it a case for someone on like the edge too. Like maybe Mike Hill is a good shot for them at edge, kind of like them taking
Miles Murphy.
Marius Mims. But Mims last year was kind of a not the same because I was more confident about Mims, but he was definitely one of those like developmental offensive tackles that had a huge ceiling, maybe one of the biggest ceilings, excluding Holt. You still see Nolan too. They like some guys with some character concerns, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do. This is a tough pick.
Yep.
Have Jack Hill, DJ Turner, Jordan Bowers. The issue for me is I like Cam Taylor-Britt pretty good as a second corner. DJ Turner could develop into a good one.
And I feel like Dax Hill is basically the same player they're trying to get out of Jada.
Correct. And I still like it. I mean, he's still young. He still has a chance. I mean, he was hurt a little bit.
Dax Hill was a first in 22. Cam Taylor-Britt was a 2 in 22. Forgot they went back-to-back first or back-to-back CBs that year.
Turner was recent too, right? Was that?
Turner was 2022. Or sorry.
That's 23, right?
Turner was 23. Yeah,
I think it was the
second round pick in
okay.
2023.
Yeah, they're gonna go something on the turn. I'm thinking Grant, but I'm also maybe talking myself into Scorton.
Ooh,
Scorton for them.
I could see
It's
that.
a little early. It's a little early, but you know what? This is just a weird draft. Nick Scorton, pick 17. Give him. They arguably need edge more than interior.
Yep, I don't disagree.
So, in Scorton, I think if he's a number 2 on a team, I think he's going to be really good, especially. And if they keep Trey, which it sounds like they're probably gonna, he might not play, but they're gonna try. I think that would be a great situation for him. If he doesn't have to be like the number 1 guy being key on the defensive line.
And the Seahawks, I think, still need every position in the interior offensive line. Taking Gray Zabel.
Yeah.
For all the reasons that you just talked about, I think that he is probably the best center, and they probably need center more than the other 2 positions, arguably.
Right.
I mean, Anthony Bradford and Satoa Laumea are terrible, but maybe Oluolu can bounce out to guard and play better there than he did at center. I don't know. Either way, Gray Zabel can play any of the 3 positions for him. In a real pinch, he could sub in for Cross or Lucas. I just don't think they would do that, frankly. And
Right.
They don't address their interior offensive line. So again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I want it to be noted in case it does.
Yeah. No, I think it, I mean, I would like that pick for them if they actually made it. I'd actually like it a lot.
Dude.
What you think of Barron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I want to do. I was talking myself into not picking and seeing if someone would trade because of the gauntlet coming up of teams that need wide receiver, including the Broncos, which doesn't mean they take one, but Broncos, Steelers probably not anymore, but maybe it depends on what they think about Pickens, I guess. Chargers, Packers, Texans. I was kind of thinking Texans. Like, would they move up here to get? I don't even know. Like either Golden or Igbu. Like, how much do they really want to add?
I just feel like the
but
Texans
but they,
need offensive line so
that's
bad. I don't think they can
that's
afford.
Exactly. That was my counterpoint. So, and then I thought about, well, do the Rams want to try to get Loveland before the Broncos or Chargers? Because I think Loveland for them would be
Tremendous.
But that's a U team.
Yeah.
And I was just talking, obviously. They also don't have a second, so they might not.
It's
like
harder for them to move up this far.
Move up. But they have, 90, 101, 127. They have some third and fourth round picks. But I'm not going to complicate it too much. I'm just going to take Barron. They need a playmaker on defense in the secondary, and I think Lovey Turner.
Yep, that's the one. Lovie Smith.
Yeah, but still not even him. I was thinking Lovie Smith, and I still said the wrong one.
Norm Turner.
Oh man, whatever the head coach's name is, it's gonna come to my brain. I can see his little
Todd
on YouTube face. Yeah.
Todd Bowles.
That one would love Barron, and I'm gonna stop talking.
All right.
Yeah.
The Broncos. Man,
I would like this board for them.
I would love this board for them because I think
There's a couple guys that I wish I would have that I still would have liked for them, but
Loveland, Hampton, Nolan, Golden, Grant.
Yep. Yep. Hit them all pretty much. Yeah. That's pretty much
Honestly, even,
Even-
I wouldn't do this, I don't think, but even Starks, right?
it. Oh yeah. I mean, throw him in the defense somewhere. Sure. Now it's not a need because I think PJ Locke is an awesome safety.
Right, and you got
awesome
Hufanga.
safety 3. Yeah, like it's not a need, but if they're like, this dude's a top 15 player for us and he's here, sure, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. Don't think it's likely, but I would be happy. I mean, you pretty much know my thoughts on it. Like,
Yeah. I
assuming they stuck a pick here, I mean,
right. They could trade, but
I don't know who would be moving up. I mean, someone for. Again, I think it'd be Loveland or
one of the wide
Starks
receivers.
or one of the wide receivers. Yeah, there was maybe offensive line. Someone loves Simmons or Kenneth Grant or something, but. Is anybody going to take offensive line before the Texans or on the board? Like, likely to?
Probably not.
So,
I mean, the Vikings.
there's teams that could, but
Hold on.
isn't
The
likely.
Vikings don't need to anymore. I think they addressed that pretty well in free agency. didn't
I think
they?
the Chargers even just could, even just because it's.
Yeah.
Like they could probably use an upgrade at one of those spots, but.
Packers maybe.
Packers could, yeah.
Zach
yeah,
Tom's
but-
their starting right tackle. Rasheed Walker at left tackle.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking maybe that.
It's not listed as a need, but I think it's more of a need than what PFF thinks because, well, I don't need to start on that brain again.
If the price was cheap enough, I think the Texans could possibly move up 5 picks. They'd just be like, we love Josh Simmons.
Right.
But But the Broncos might just love one of those 5 guys that you just named.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm kind of thinking, and I think
And just be like,
as
"No,
much
we're not gonna-"
as much as
We're
I
not gonna
like
lose.
Kenneth Grant, as much as I like Walter Nolan, I just don't necessarily see the Broncos being infatuated with a defensive lineman in the first this year. I think it could
So-
happen. I think if the board falls differently, it could happen. But I think that one of Omarion Hampton and Matthew Golden,
Gotta get you a weapon.
even Ekbuka, honestly,
Yeah, I also agree with that.
I think,
Obviously.
and with the desperate need that you have at running back, in my opinion, I wouldn't necessarily be shocked if Payton pushes for that more.
Yeah.
And again, Hampton feels like a bell cow kind of guy that Payton likes to have.
Yep, and he can also still catch the ball
Yep.
out of the backfield.
He's not inept with his hands. He
No,
had
I think he's above average.
38 catches on 43 targets. Like, he's
He honestly has really good hands. They just didn't use him
correct.
like that a ton because North Carolina just doesn't really even do
Correct. Which is also how I feel about Genty, but that's neither here nor there.
that. Right.
Also, I feel like he's getting past pro, too.
He is. He's not a Travion Henderson, but he's solid.
Right.
Yeah.
But, man,
He's probably top 4.
you
or
replaced
5.
Javante with another North Carolina halfback.
Yeah, and look, I was before he was a Bronco. I mean, I know you were a huge Javante fan. He was my running back one. I loved him so much. Just the way he ran, how young he was. Like, and you can say it's the like, not bias, but like what I know now. But if I was to stack Javante in this class as just a prospect, because it wasn't that long ago, so I still have a good idea of what I thought, he would have been below Hampton. I think he would have been below Judkins. Honestly, him and Judkins would have been first. So
That's fair.
I think Hampton, I think he gets through, like, he's patient, and I think he can get through the hole quicker than Javante.
That makes
Javante's
sense.
thing was he does have the quickness, like the athleticism, uh, laterally too. But his big thing is like he was impossible just to take down, like before he got hurt. Plus he did have that quick burst, but Hampton to me when he hits that hole, I think he gets from his his startup speed to like his top speed quicker, I guess is what I'm saying. So like he'll get to that 7 yard, like he'll get to the second level
Right.
quicker.
That makes
And
sense.
I don't know. They both had good hands coming out. They have some similar things, but to me, Hampton is more ready and polished than Javante was. Javante was like, dude, this kid looks awesome, but he has stuff to work on, and sadly, he just got hurt really good.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Hampton, it is.
I would be very
You talked me into it.
very happy. Yeah, it's just such a big need. Um, and I know it could be smoke screens, but Peyton said multiple times, like, we could use a wide receiver, but we don't think that we
Need to press for
need
one.
one because we've drafted two guys we like still that have only played for 1 year.
Yep.
You know, we're still developing. Mims is still developing. He's only played for 2 years now. I still think that they could add somebody for sure because Bo needs as many weapons as he can get.
Yep.
But you also added Ingram, who's just like another wide receiver. So
Yep.
the running back definitely is the bigger need. And man, I am afraid of this pick because I just want to give you Sanders, and I know you think that or you knew that's probably what I was going to. Obviously.
Dude, I keep forgetting Sanders is on the board.
Yeah. But look, if he falls past the Giants, which I don't think is impossible, I really don't. If they don't love him, they're not going to take him. Like, if
he
they favor
gets-
Travis Hunter, and they think Hunter's like a superstar, and they're not sold on Shador, and they're just like, we're going to do as well as we can this year, and we'll trade up for a quarterback next year. And maybe they, kind of like you said, they're banking on them doing better and getting that second.
To me, if he gets past the
Jets and the
Giants,
Raiders.
and then he gets past the Raiders and Jets,
Yes.
there's
It's
no
tough.
telling how far he's going to fall.
Probably to the Steelers, unless someone trades up.
But
Probably.
But
But do the Steelers take him?
that's what I'm saying. Or
The Steelers might not think
are
he's
the
going to even get
Steelers
there.
fielding a phone call from the Rams?
I think the Rams would take Shador or
No.
the tight end, you mean Loveland. Okay.
I think they want to get
Thinking-
Loveland before he goes to
Loveland.
the Chargers.
Possible.
And the Steelers might be thinking, well, we're going to take Shador here. Chargers aren't taking Shador. Packers aren't taking Shador. Vikings
yeah,
aren't
you
taking
just risk
Shador.
someone trading up if you actually like Shador.
Right. Well, I mean, the biggest risk, honestly, let's be quite frankly honest about it. If you're trading
Guys
up with the
are
Rams could be the guys trading up for Shador if they don't think Stafford has many years left.
Yeah, possible.
It's not
I
the most
think
likely
if-
thing in the world, but
If Shador falls far enough, the Giants have picked 34.
yeah.
I mean, sure you could say, well, if they didn't want him there, like at freaking 3, but you could pair Travis Hunter with Shador. Why would you you can't? They would have to hate Shador, I think, for them to not even explore trading him. We
Right.
already have Travis Hunter. So, anyways, I mean,
Well, then, is
Look.
that the conversation that we're having? Do the Giants trade up
Rams-
here instead? And give
they
up
trade
more to
this
move up?
early. If they trade up what to 20.
They don't have a
well,
ton of
they-
draft capital.
They would be. I think they would do it, but they would probably want to give up future capital more than this year, just
Right.
in case. Because they want to get players on their team this year, just in case they're not still there.
Right.
Like they want to have as many picks as they can this year. And I don't know that they. I mean, could they give up their first next year?
That's what I'm looking at.
I don't think they should, but
I
could
think
they? Jesus, man, like
pick 34 and their first round next year
to
for the
pair those two?
Steelers 21
You
and
would like that.
and maybe the Steelers' second or third next year. Because again, moving up 11 picks here, getting back into the first round, you pick up that 5th-year option for a guy. Like, how much? Hold on. How much did the Eagles get back in the Lamar trade?
Good stuff.
That's not telling me anything. I want to know what the actual trade was. The Eagles traded. Hold on. Dude, just tell me what the goddamn trade was. I don't want to read your article on the impact of what the trade was. The Ravens sent the 52nd, 125th, and a 2019 second for 32 and the 132nd selection. So the Ravens moved up 20 spots, but it was the last pick in the first round.
It's not.
Moved back 7 picks in the 4th, and then they gave up their second pick in the next year.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably have to be the one. I mean, I was trying to say or think like, well, could the Giants give their 2 next year, and then like 99 this year, and then like also a 4 next year?
Right. But I think
2
the
and 4
Steelers
next
would
year
rather
and
get
99.
34 in their 1 next year, and they gave
Well,
up 21
no
in
shit,
1.
They'd rather.
I
Well,
know,
yeah, they'd
but-
rather get that 1 if they want a quarterback, you know, next year than they
Yeah,
have.
that's what I'm saying. They
a
have
maybe-
2.
a maybe
They have a
top
maybe
10
top
pick.
5 pick.
Jesus, yeah. Well,
I'm not hanging up the phone until this deal happens, by the way. That's just going to be how it is. 34 and a 1. Let's call it for 21 and 156. Steelers give something back to him in this draft class, since they want to capitalize on this draft class. And that nudges it from being that round.
156 and a 4 next year. It would have to be something. Because I was going to ask for a 2 next year, and not 90 whatever, or 156, you know? Like a 4, like probably a later 4. You're going to get comp picks next year, so that 4's not going to matter, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if the Giants asked for that 4, I don't think the Steelers would say no. If they're getting the Giants' first round pick, you know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
I think it's fair. Or even instead of 156, it could be 185. 30 picks. That's even a further minimum.
We do a pick swap next year, the Dallas round 6 and our round 5 with pick 156 for this year, so they get to take more shots this year since Dayball's not going to be there next year.
Done. Your pick.
And I'm taking Shiduki.
Imagine. If Dayball gets fired, we know who the head coach is going to be.
Yep.
Which would be hilarious.
It's going to be completely hilarious.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's still my pick. I'm taking Loveland. I could have taken a bunch of different things. I'm just taking Loveland. Yeah, Kenneth Grant's still here. Yeah, Kenneth Grant would be sick. They need tight end desperately. They want a tight end that can run block. They want a tight end that can catch the ball. They want a tight end that can complement Herbert's game. They want a tight end that can complement Najee's game. They want a tight end that can complement Ladd. They want a tight end that can catch the ball because they don't really have a second option. I could have also gone wide receiver for him. I could have gone, again, Grant, but I'm just taking Loveland. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, breaking news. The Saints have worked out Kyle McCord. Yep.
And they're trading up with the Packers here to trade him, or to draft him.
Oh, I hate the Packers. Say it every week that I have to pick them. I mean, I think they should take a wide receiver. They have, I mean, their choice of everybody except for Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like offensive line, like you said, could be stability. I mean, they might believe in Walker as a backup. drafting her decently early. I got Nate Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Are there talks with them not being able to re-sign Jair?
Yes, and potentially looking to trade him in the draft.
I don't have very good. David Williams at safety. We talked about that before. This draft might be like one of the weirder ones we've done. I'm gonna take Saquon Rebel.
Let's go.
I'm gonna take Saquon Rebel. I think
This is definitely the weirdest draft we've done so far, and I'm okay with that. Let's just get weird with it.
It's their prototype style, and like that is the corner that they would. I think that they would. Him or Porter, which they're both kind of crazy picks, but I'll go with Rebel. Maybe they like his the prognosis of what his injury looked like, so and him coming back from that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're gonna do.
All right. Which puts the... Oh my god. How do I not? You lose Cam Bynum. You don't really replace him. You have Josh Metellus. You have an aging Harrison Smith, who's been in the league since 2012. You want to talk about 36-year-olds. Malachi Starks is just sitting there staring you in the face. Done.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Makes a lot of sense. Texans are taking Josh Simmons. They like the prognosis of his injury stuff. He debatably could be the best left tackle in the draft if he comes back from that injury nicely, and they need a tackle really badly. And it's another Ohio State guy that knows C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
Easy pick.
I like it. Rams are on the... Oh. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it, but I want to.
I mean, you could. There's two things that I like.
Yeah, I'm thinking Luther Burden
maybe
and
even
Sean,
three things,
and a Sean McVay offense would be disgusting, is my
Who?
first thought. Luther Burden
Yeah.
and a Sean McVay offense would be gross.
You like that?
I'm also thinking that Poona Ford doesn't stop me from taking Kenneth Grant.
Correct.
Also thinking
Probably not. I mean, good player, but
also thinking they could go with the first linebacker taken, right? No, because Jihad.
yeah. I mean, if they went linebacker, they would have to. Just because.
Have to what?
Carson. Good
Yep.
old Smith.
That's what I was thinking.
Cali boy, which we've done before, but
Yep.
still is kind of a shocking pick in the round one. Still wouldn't like completely. Well, just the offensive line would be a thing, but
Yeah, it's just tricky.
it would need to be Banks because he could play tackle or guard. Like
Yep.
it would need to be.
But I think like Avila a good amount. I think they like Dotson a good amount. I think they like
Yeah.
Havenstein now. Granted, Havenstein is old.
I don't think it's likely, but if like a guy fell there, there's like, yeah, this guy's a starter for us.
Hold on, I forgot Matthew Golden's still available.
That was the one. That
No, I'm not passing up on
Holy
that.
crap.
I was gonna try to get funky and weird
Golden,
with it.
Devontae Adams, and Puka.
It's gross,
Holy
dude.
crap. Talk about a Super Bowl window like with Stafford there, dude. Like that is nuts. Stafford's arm was so
Mhm.
nice, dude. I was hoping you got that. That's what I.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed that.
Well, I was gonna take him to the Ravens if you didn't, and that was gonna be nasty. I didn't want to do that.
Good.
that I was gonna. It was just gonna be best player available. Jalen Milroe.
Mm-hmm.
Think they feel good about their offensive line? I know it says guard, but like maybe they don't like Voorhees. I feel like he wasn't that good.
Right, but he's still young enough.
So I was thinking like Tyler. Yeah, but Tyler Booker would just get right in there. Like start anyway.
Yeah, he would.
And Voorhees was what? How late did we pick him? He's 26. Yeah. He came in at 25 years old. I did not know he was.
I didn't know he was that old either.
When was he drafted? I feel like it was like. I feel like it was at a point where.
23, 7th round pick in 2023.
Yeah. Wait, who do they have? I might have another idea. They're taking Kenneth Grant. Yeah. They're gonna take Kenneth Grant. Travis Jones. Man, is Kenneth Grant gonna play 310? Who more than those? I think I've talked myself out of it. If it was Derek Harmon here, I would be taking him. I think I've done that. Nolan is also interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to take best player available for them. That's just what they.
Mikel could be best player available at this point for him. I think that's pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's a me problem.
Just feels like a Broncos move.
No.
Jalen Walker.
No. But I don't care that they signed Ardarius, man. They can use free safeties. That secondary needs help. They're taking Emanuwari here. Next second, so it's just next. Then you have 3 good safeties. They use free safeties all the time.
I hate that.
So, that's such a Raven. I forgot he was still there.
Hate that so much.
Yeah, so do I. Not as much as you, but I hate
you. I hate so much about the things you choose to be.
That's fair.
Oh man. I feel like John Walker is a very Lions pick.
I think that they would want an actual, because to me, I just think someone's got to draft him as edge. If he's too much of a stand-up guy, I think they need more of a hand in the dirt edge, unless they were just rushing him from the middle, which is good.
Maybe they would just go Mikel.
Did you pick yet?
No.
I was. Do that again. Well, not the 17. Actually, I think I'm okay. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna move up with somebody, but
I could see them also just taking Luther Burton over Egbuka.
Yeah, I mean,
Tim Patrick's listed as their other wide receiver right now.
JMO and
yeah,
obviously
JMO's your deep threat. Amon-Ra in the slot.
I mean, yeah, I could definitely see them doing that. I mean, like, who knows if the buzz about Burton dropping out of the first round is true or not, because he just, like, gave up last year or something like that, which it's one of the reasons why he's not my top 3 wide receivers. He
Right.
doesn't play hard football. I don't love it. Which actually, Dan Campbell might not love that either. Just
That's
throwing
true.
it out there. I didn't even think about that.
It's true. I could see him taking Banks to play guard.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean Banks? Yeah, sorry. Thought you were remaining Booker, but I forgot Banks.
I could see them taking Booker too, but I think I'm gonna give him Michael, dude. They need somebody opposite from Hutch, and they just had such a lack of pass rush last year.
Did you already do it?
No.
Do you think the Steelers would trade up? Is there somebody on the board that they would be like, yeah, we can't miss it, and we want him for that? For the fifth year?
I don't think so. I personally think if the Steelers trade back and they pick up that draft capital for next year, I think that they're content just taking whoever is there for them at 34. Or even trading back again. And I really think if
Because they don't have a
they
second, right?
don't have a second this year, and if they walk away not getting a quarterback in the first or second round this year, I could see him just waiting for next year. I think that they are content enough with Mason Rudolph as a backup. Now, obviously, this also changes if Aaron Rodgers decides to retire before the draft. Like, this is
Right.
100% something that I would flip on
I
its
have another
head.
proposition for you too.
Go ahead.
Right.
What was that? Sorry?
Have you picked yet?
No.
Alright. I don't know if I'm cutting out or you are, but probably me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You did for a little bit, but it could have also just been my connection.
Okay.
So,
It's probably mine. In my house, I got 500 things connected to my Wi-Fi.
that's fair.
I kind of think, and this is a, wait, is that a U team too?
Who?
Yeah, I don't know my odds news apparently, never mind. I kind of was thinking, like, would the Patriots move up? They have a little extra capital. They have a lot of extra capital now, especially. It probably wouldn't cost too much to go get one of these tackles. Because the Chiefs are going to probably, the Chiefs could take one. The Browns at 33 could take one. The Titans could, well, they probably won't now, but I mean, there's some teams that could take them. And in my opinion, you got Connerly and Banks, and then there's a Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good chance that they can't get one.
Fair.
But I mean, that's a U team. I for some reason was thinking it was an U team. I'll shut up.
I could see
So
it
go
for
ahead.
sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna stick
Who's
with it.
the-
Michael Williams is the guy I'm gonna take for him.
Yeah, I can see Michael being a kneecap body for sure. So.
Yep.
I like that. I'm part of me wants to take someone like taking Jalen Walker from before because of the whole Michael Parsons and Dan Quinn. Same type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably ridiculous, but I think I'm gonna give him Trevion.
Ooh. I don't hate that.
They need a weapon like that.
I could see them taking Burden too.
Oh, definitely, and I think that's what we did last week.
Is it?
Or maybe we either did Burden to them or we did Burden to the 49ers, and I don't think it was the 49ers.
Yeah.
I don't know if we did it to him in the first. I don't know.
I don't.
Maybe that was a me thing, but I'm gonna do Trevion because I think they need like, sure, they could use a wide receiver still. I don't think just because you got an older Devo that you can't. It's also me just liking Trevion more than Burden probably, but
Fair.
I think having that the guy, like, they want to run the ball, but they also want to pass a lot. And who's the best pass protecting running back? And the guy that can play all three downs is just,
It's
I
convenient.
don't know. And like, it's a really good running back for I can't think of names today. The offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yep.
It just fits his system really well too. So yeah, it's a little spicy. 3 running backs first round.
I like it. 4 running backs in the first round. The Bills.
My opinion, it needs it. Well, I'm not gonna say that.
They could go Trey Amos here, in my opinion.
Yep. I think it's edge corner or defensive, but probably edge or corner.
Wait, hold on. Walter Nolan's still there. I'm taking Walter Nolan. I know that they don't necessarily need him the most because they have what's his face, who's a very similar player, Ed Oliver. But if you can have 2 Ed Olivers,
Why not?
that's better than 0 Ed Olivers.
This is true.
I should have taken
True,
Kenneth
this is
Grant,
terrible.
but it's too late for that now.
Yep. Too late.
Besides, we're getting weird with it. I've talked about Walter Nolan there, I think, every week for the most part. So one of these weeks I just had to bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we both talked about that. Actually, a lot with that. I don't know if we've done it yet or not. Probably not.
I don't think we actually ever did it. I think we just talked about it a
No.
lot.
Yeah, I think so too. What am I doing? What did they sign Jerry Tillery to? Do you know? Was it a lot? I feel like it was. No, I think it was. That little player.
1 year, $1.79 million. A lot of money.
Banks is interesting, and so is Connerly, obviously, but I think Grant with Chris Jones is just nasty, so I'm gonna give him Kenneth Grant.
I like it.
They need some help besides Chris Jones. They have like nobody. Karlaftis, but he's not really he's like like an edge for them because they run like a hybrid 3-4, 4-3, so he plays a little more edge than like he'll play over the tackle or like outside the tackle more than like a free tackle. And Grant would really just be the nose, and Chris Jones and him would probably be rushing from the inside on most downs anyways.
Yep. I am going to do something that shouldn't happen. But it's a possibility in this mock, and I don't think I can pass it up. And that is I'm taking Ibuka to the Eagles at 32.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which wide receiver did I give them last week? I gave him one because I remember talking about it. And being like, oh, because AJ Brown. It might have been Burden, actually. Now that I think about it.
I think it was.
But I gave him one. I definitely gave him one. It wasn't Golden. Golden wasn't still there. It was either Burden or Ibuka, but I think it was Burden. But yeah. Anyways, continue.
Let's see.
That
Yep,
is-
you gave him Burden last week.
Okay, alright, that sounds right. Alright. Round number 2, I should have time.
Also, randomly this
Gold.
week, I have not gotten any notifications that my stream has been lagging, and my stream has looked fine all week. Or like all
Nice.
stream. And I don't know why. I did nothing different. There's nothing that I've done differently. I have the same tabs open, I have the same programs open. Nothing at all is different. Anyway, continue.
It just knew you needed. It knew you needed a win for that.
That might be the case.
Yeah. So Cleveland went Carter. Ooh. I was. Oh, dude, there's like 3 things I want to do. Okay. I think they need offensive badly. And obviously Banks and Conway are here. And then obviously Judkins is just I just think he's a good fit for them won't lie. I running back, and I think they need one badly. I still think it'd be fun to give them Jackson Dart. Their quarterback.
I can see it.
And I think he could be a good fit for that system. You just need to sit for a minute. You still bring Kirk Cousins over there, possibly. Have Taylor as number 1, pick at number 2, and let Dart sit for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
I need to look at their offensive line, though, because I'm thinking there's a couple of spots that like need. I can't remember if Conklin gonna be a free agent soon? Antonio, Devon Jones. It's really is which. I'm not asking you this because I know your answer. Which version of Devon Jones are we gonna get?
The worst one imaginable.
Antonio, I still like. Wyatt Teller, I like. Jack Conklin, I also still like. I like those 3 guys. Pochick, I think, could be upgraded, but there's not a center here. So it would be, am I taking one of these tackles to replace Dillon?
I could see it.
I think that's probably the pick. If they don't. It just depends on how they like Jackson. I'm trying to think if they would like push. I think just because of what the quarterback situation kind of looks like right now, they're kind of stuck at it's going to be Kenny Pickett, or maybe you get Kirk Cousins. You don't really have a future. Sure, like there's going to be a better class next year, yada yada yada. And if you suck balls next year too and have a high pick, even if it's 33, it doesn't really stop you from taking another one. It sucks for Jackson Dart because he only got a year to be there, and that would suck, but it would be a Browns thing to do.
Yep.
You know what? I haven't seen Dart to the Browns ever, so let's just do that. They think that they like Devon Jones. They just spent a pretty decently high pick on him. He's looked good and bad, so maybe they do think that they can still get good at him. He's still young.
And maybe you think that the Steelers are going to take him here. So you need to.
Yeah, and you wanted to quote unquote step up.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
You're still up. You get the next 2 picks.
Oh, I am up. Yeah. Okay. Would I have taken him for the Steelers? No, because you guys traded for an extra first.
Yep.
So I would.
I wouldn't have either, but I think that, again, the only reason why I think we would trade up back into the first here, if this hypothetical trade happened, is if we don't get Aaron Rodgers this year. If we don't get Rodgers this year, we might need to take Dart just because we need to have something on the roster. And it is probably a situation, again, like you said, we traded for that first next year. We have all those comp picks to make a move up. There's a good chance that next year, Jackson Dart winds up in that same lame duck period with whatever else. You know, depending on what happens this season, maybe we move on from Tomlin, and then at that point we bring in a new coach, and he doesn't like Jackson Dart, and we pick high enough, and we can take a guy next year if we want. Could happen.
Sure.
Even if Tomlin is there next year, there's still a reasonable chance that we would take somebody that's not Jackson Dart next year, and it would kind of be the same shitty situation for him next year, but we could maybe trade him to a better home, whatever. But if we get Rodgers, I just don't think we need to address quarterback until later on. Maybe we take a guy in the 4th round.
Howard, baby, your boy.
Not going to comment on that.
It's going to be Howard or Milroe because they love Milroe.
It's possible. It's possible. We do need a running back, so
true.
You could take Milroe here.
Well, okay. Yeah, true. My first thought was to give you Jeff.
Yep.
I do have a question.
Yep.
If you get Rodgers.
Yep.
Is there any world that they're like, let's give him another weapon and get Burton to play as the 3rd wide receiver, and then you have flexibility to move Pickens if you need to, if he doesn't want to sign up?
I think that if we get Rodgers, I think that we sit down and have a meeting with Rodgers in the darkness, and we talk to him about what he's looking for, in terms of his playmakers. I think he would be a big fan of Pat Fry.
Oh, yeah.
I think he would be obviously huge on DK and Pickens. But I honestly think that he would be happy with Calvin Austin, and maybe he saw something out of Roman Wilson that we didn't see last year because apparently he didn't understand
True.
the offense at all.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it would really come down to what he would be looking for.
Yeah.
The fact that Burden's here might be nice for him, but is Burden also
I think he's
necessarily a
possible.
guy that Rodgers would be looking for? I don't know.
If Egbuka was here, I think yes.
Yes. If Egbuka was still on the board, I would very heavily consider taking a wide receiver here. Frankly, if Egbuka was still on the board, I probably would have tried to goad you into taking him for the Browns. But, right?
Huh.
Wait, who did we give the Browns in the first? Carter. So yeah, it would have made sense in my mind
Okay.
for him to be a Brown.
What about
But
Darius Alexander?
that was one of the players I was looking at.
Those are the two. For me, it was Alexander or Joe. And then Burden as like the third. I don't think it's super likely, but if they get Rodgers, it's just one of those things like just give him as many weapons as possible. Especially being 41 years old, so he doesn't have to.
The other thing that I think we could do is take Trey Amos.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want Darius Slay starting for us this year. I like Corey Trice enough.
Yeah.
I do believe that Darius Alexander fills a bigger need for us. Probably. Long term, I mean, he doesn't necessarily get on the field this year. He's eventually your Isaiah Loudermilk replacement, I think. Maybe he's eventually your Cam Hayward replacement.
Yeah.
He's also older, which makes it tough. Because if he's not going to get on the field for you right away, does he make sense for you? And again, maybe because of that, they would just play him over Loudermilk. Loudermilk's not getting enough money that you have to, be content with him playing by any means.
I'm gonna make a proposition.
Okay.
So technically, you could too, because you got one of their picks. The Patriots have pick 38 and 40.
Mm-hmm.
They need tackle. They need wide receiver.
Hmm?
I think there's more risk of a wide receiver going because of the Titans and Jaguars coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not a huge risk of a tackle going. So you could keep 38, but then go to 43, which is my pick. So, and I'm kind of proposing this to you because you're the Steelers fan. So I know it's my pick, but
Yep.
I want to see it. And you've already talked about maybe moving down. You guys need 4 picks this year, possibly.
Or next year.
True. Let me actually pick them. Yes, and I mean the Patriots, they have an extra 3 next year, but they don't have a 2. But they would want to give 43, so you're moving down 9 spots or so. They have 2 picks in the 70s here, so it would give you another pick like around your pick 80. So let's just say 75.
Wait,
And then they would throw in what? Sorry,
I don't have 75 for him.
for the Patriots?
Mm-hmm.
Did I mess that up? Maybe I did.
I forget what the trade was that we did
I
for him.
probably
earlier.
did mess that up. What do they have?
We had him
They
trade
have-
up with the Panthers. They have
Let me
77,
see
100,
how much.
106, 111.
Okay, that's fine.
Doesn't really matter, but
No, but give them a 3. Say there's a 3 next year. It
Yep.
doesn't matter which one. I think they'd give 2 3s for. I think they would be comfortable giving 100 and also 144, which is 2 pretty good picks.
43, 100, 144, and third next year.
Might be too much, but
I'll take out pick 100 because
Maybe
I want their third
100
next year instead of San Fran's.
that's fine. Yep, that works. So 43.
And 144 and a third next year for 34.
Done.
And the Steelers are stacked on picks
Yep.
next year.
Yep, just what you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah, the Patriots are gonna take Burton. They're gonna take Burton. He's an AJ Brown-esque type of guy for
Yeah, but
Which I know this
the
this was crazy, right? Do what?
The league.
Malik.
Oh,
Am I missing somebody?
a league.
Oh, Alec. No, I think it's Burton.
I know.
I think they want like a rack guy. They need that rack threat. And it's crazy. They've added now JT and Burton. It's Vrabel. I mean, at the end of the day, keep getting Mayweather.
Yep.
So, and now I'm up again, right? Yes.
Yep.
I sniped myself. Look at that.
Sure did.
You got Cam. Sure, adding in a wide receiver would have been nice. Well, guess what? I think they're going to do it anyways. I think there's a wide receiver that they like better than Burton. I think, unless I think about this. I can't believe Banks finally saw the ball, personally. They should take one. But they gave too much money today and more. And maybe he works out. Okay. They see something in them. They're smarter than I am.
Sure.
Or at least they're offensive line coaches. I don't know about their owner isn't smarter than me, but they have football minds in them.
That's fair.
I won't. If he looks like shit for 2 years, then I'll be like, yeah, you guys are ready. I'll give him at least a couple years still. At least one. Just making sure. Yeah, I mean, what was Zeitler on? It was just a 1 year deal, I think. I think it was just a 1 year deal.
Yeah, I think we looked that up.
There's a chance that they would still be like, look, let's take Banks. He could be the right guard of the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then if Dan Moore doesn't work out, I don't know if they have outs on that contract. I have not looked. Like maybe after 2 years they have some out. If he sucks, then you have maybe your left tackle. I don't think it's a bad thought. I do think they need edge still pretty bad. I don't know that they or the team that would want Joe. I know Pierce is still here. That's obviously Tennessee connections. I think that's probably what I'll do is go Pierce. I was thinking about taking Higgins.
Yep.
But
so I was highlighted on, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Shocking, I know.
I feel like I've done that before. I think 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember, but I like Higgins from there. I think that's the type of wide receiver that they need.
Yep.
But we're kind of doing stuff different. I'm actually going to go Pierce. I think it's just best player available at a position that they need. They need guys who are going to be good starters for them, and their edge group is pretty lackluster. So they could probably. It sucks, and they don't pick you until 103. So like wide receivers, like but I mean, there could be a guy there. I mean, I don't know. Go take you a Nick Nash, and every time you score a touchdown, Nashville's going to go crazy. So, anyways,
I like that.
Pierce here, and then we got that to you finally.
I like that. What do we do for them already? Tyler Warren.
Yep, nice pick. They got to do that D-line now, right? Look who's sitting there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Alexander.
Not to, steal your pick for you, but I just noticed that as I was sitting there.
I was going to do it anyway.
That's a dream pick. I mean, even if he wasn't there, TJ Saunders here, Ty League would both be awesome picks. But...
Yep.
Whew. Can't pass on that.
Nope.
Alright, do this. We've done this. I've definitely done this before. Like, the whole Judkins here, Ohio State, Chip Kelly, they need a running back for them.
Alabama just broke the record for most of the threes in a NCAA tournament game. So did I.
Man, these two tackles that are on the board now. The Patriots are different general.
Yep.
I don't think the Raiders are taking it.
Nope.
Actually,
the Raiders are taking
guard situation.
Quinshon Judkins.
Probably. But I'm curious. We could take Banks and TJ Blanks, he's not good, man. Why does it not say they don't need a tackle?
because PFF
Jordan Meredith
sucks.
and guard. Nah, dude. They're taking Banks. Yeah, they're gonna take Banks. They need an offensive line. Which honestly, I think I might take Connerly over Banks for the Patriots anyways. If that's where they're gonna go. I think
Yep. But I think that they're thrilled to get.
it's a combo.
I mean, dude, Genty.
Deal two.
Could we just get Genty, Burden, and Josh Connerly?
Burden is wild. Kudos to the Patriots.
Yeah. for
Kudos
now.
to freaking Drake May. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Drake May, first round Dynasty Fantasy Football quarterback now? Like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm. Bing, check it off.
I'm assuming you locked that in.
Yes.
Okay. Sure. I think the Bears are going to take Grinshaw. They could probably. Would they think the Saints are going to take him?
Maybe. Saints met with Sampson today.
Yeah, I guess as the Bears, they wouldn't take Scott. I think it would be between Sampson and Jenkins for them. I think it'd probably be Jenkins. They're going to take one. Yeah, I'm gonna give him Jenkins.
I like it. Saints took Campbell in the first. Jack Betch, I think that's too close to home for a variety of reasons. Tyleek,
I think.
you think
Yeah.
what?
I can see that too.
What
I
were
think
you
they're
gonna
gonna
say?
take a wide receiver. It might be Higgins, but I'm probably too high.
I could see
It's just a
Higgins
type of
there.
wide receiver that they don't have.
It is. It is.
But,
And
like,
the type that they like.
Besh also is. I mean,
Right.
they have him higher than Higgins. Possible higher than Higgins for.
Well, I think that I don't think Betch
I'm
could
just
play
not
in New
buying it.
Orleans, is what I'm trying to say. With all of the extra stuff that goes on with that, and I'm trying to be as respectful as possible and not actually be a dickhead for once in my life. But I think that it's
Fair.
very similar to the Travarius Ward situation. I just don't think that
Yeah.
he would feel. We're gonna come back to this. Who did I take the first? You took Jihad. Man, he's fallen so I can't not take Jalen Walker. I have to take Jalen Walker. It might not be the best player or the best like fit for the team. I mean, but like in terms of the best player available at this point,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
is he exactly the kind of guy they're looking for? No, but Cam Jordan's 35. So once again, we're back having these dumbass conversations. Like, they could sub him in, flex him around, do some weird shit with him. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I think it's good though. I mean, he fell decently far, so
There becomes a point where you take a
gotta
player
take
and it's
the
not
chance.
necessarily the best thing for the team, but it's just too much value to pass up on, and I think that that's kind of where we were in my mind.
yeah, I agree. I was pretty set on going Xavier Watson again because we just have done that, and I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this again for them. I did this maybe last week, but I did it in the first round. I made the case of Joe Tooney being old and other interior guys being, besides Dalton. I think Jonah Jackson was on a smaller contract. I'm gonna give him both. They want to keep the offensive line strong. And I think they're doing a good job in free agency that they can kind of make this not even a risk, but like make sure that offensive line stays strong. Like those guys are a little older, like Tooney, like they have injury concerns. Like make sure you have someone that can go in. I mean, they're backups. If you look at all of their offensive line spots, are horrible.
Right.
Like
Yeah, because they
not
were the
startable
starters.
guys, really. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go Booker just because I think that's the mentality that they want to build this team too is just keep that offensive line strong. And yeah, like, even if he's not starting day one, he'll be starting next year for sure.
I can see it. And then the Jets take Jalen Miller.
Oh boy, hey, they could. Will Howard maybe.
They take Tyleek. I think they need that bigger
I like that.
guy.
Sweet. I think the Rams look good and I like that. Back to the Steelers again.
Yep.
Trey Amos, by the way.
That's
That's
what
so
I was
good.
just going to tell you.
Yeah.
Although at this
Already kinda
point,
talked
taking
about it,
Higgins would have
but-
been gross.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it's another size guy, man. Like
Yeah, exactly.
crazy. You should just kept Russ at that point.
Well, that's objectively bad football.
I don't know, man.
All right, Cowboys took Mike Green in the
Mike Green.
first. Man, if the Steelers took Scat there too, I'd be happy about it.
Yeah.
Caleb
A
Johnson
little early
feels
for me,
like
but
a Cowboys type of guy. So does Jack Batch. He gives you something that they don't necessarily have. But Jaden Higgins, I think, is just, it's too good to pass up on at this point. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
I like that for him.
Yeah,
The
me too.
Colts had a Washington Commanders having to reach a corner.
Yep.
They're gonna make up for it here somehow, some way, and
Landon Jackson, baby. You don't have to make up for it if you double down.
double down, maybe wrong.
I actually think Landon Jackson would be a good fit for him, personally.
I think he would too. But I'm sure I'm not gonna talk out of it. I'm gonna go. What else do that? I think I'm gonna go Carson Wentz.
I was just going to say that, too. Done.
Yeah. Just lock that in. They need a linebacker, so I think this is about where he's starting to become like.
I think
value.
that I think I gave him a linebacker last week, too. I don't remember.
maybe.
We talked about it because of Zaire.
Well, I know I've given them Jihad.
Maybe that's what it was.
But in the second round, it's very possible that we gave him Demetrius. It seems like I was kind of between him and Demetrius a little bit.
Right.
But
Ezeraku in the
high on.
first.
Yep.
I think they go Betch over Higgins. Especially because Higgins is already gone. You go with Strepo, too.
I think Jalen Noel will be their type of wide receiver. So in Royals, I mean, maybe that's early, but it is their type. If they went that direction.
Who's the OC there now?
The guy that you wanted for years, last year, Zach Robinson from the Rams.
Right.
Could they use Grady Jarrett?
I think they take a Yaman one, dude. Get that run blocking in there. Zach Robinson, at the end of the day, wants to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see TJ Sanders. I think that would be a good fit. I could see Xavier Watts, too, to be an eventual replacement for a couple guys, really. Bates isn't getting any younger.
He would be a good Simmons replacement. He's very similar to Simmons.
Right. They got Jordan Fuller to replace Simmons. And other than that, they have DeMarco
I
Hellams,
guess they would.
which doesn't really move the needle for me. Jordan Fuller's all right, but like I would rather have Xavier Watts.
Yeah.
Could also
For
be
sure.
a big time dickhead and double down on edge because they still need it, but I won't do that.
Swinton, baby.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Yamanor, dude. Just strictly
I like
for the
that.
run blocking, basically. He's good enough. His route running and all that is good enough to do what I think that Zach Robinson would want him to do. But also just having a guy
He'd
that
be a
can
decent
maul on the
Z.
edge. Right.
I like that. And then let maybe Mooney play some slot.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
I hate how bad ESPN is as a platform. I just got an alert about it was a replay of the Bryce Harper home run that happened like 6 hours ago at this point, and I thought that it was an alert about Bryce Harper like getting hurt today or something like that. And I almost threw my phone through the wall.
Imagine. Out for the season already.
I mean, if he did all the stuff that he did today and was hurt, I would be more impressed than anything. But all right, so we gave them Will Johnson the first.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull the depth chart. My internet is being dookie. I wanted to make sure. My first thought I could still do. They signed Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah, but does that move the needle for you?
Well, I was wanting to see if it moved the needle enough for me to take Tate Ratliff here because it is guard. I love Tate Ratliff,
Yep.
but doesn't move it enough.
I just need to start saying all the things that I'm thinking because one, it would be terrifying for everybody, but also those are the two players that I figured.
What, you were thinking Tate?
TJ, and then I was thinking if you don't take TJ, I think you could go Tate here. Yes.
Yep, those were the shoots. Oh, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna take Tate. Her interior is horrible.
It's really bad, dude.
I'm gonna take. Yeah, it's worse than Tate. It is.
And the Dolphins are at least a little bit ticked.
Yeah, but they got Will Campbell.
They did, but Will Campbell and
They
Tate Ratledge feels a
have
lot
a
better.
Huge needs.
They do. They have a massive,
True.
massive, gaping, one of the largest holes of all time
Mm-hmm.
at defensive tackle.
Yes.
Which is why I'm just going to do it. I don't want to. I want to have fun.
It's fun. I mean,
Our second round has
have
been a
fun, then
lot
take
more
the
safe and
other
a lot
one.
more actually like predictive or like things that I think might actually
Did you
happen
already do it?
compared to the first. Yeah, I'm done. Locked it in. Why?
well, well, I'm just gonna do it here. I think I could go Demetrius Knight.
Shamar Turner.
No, I think Norman Mott is a Dolphins defensive lineman. I definitely talked about that last week. I think, and then we ended up with Alfred Collins for them at some point. I think, but
Yep.
maybe I'm looking that up. But I'm gonna give the Bengals O'Mornum a lot because I think he might be the second or third best pass rushing defensive lineman in the draft, and they just need more help. And
Yep.
you add Norman Lott and Nick Swarton to that D line, it's
I like it.
I don't know. Thanks, I won't lie.
Landon
Yeah,
Jackson
good.
feels like a Seahawk.
Oh yeah, he does. He does.
Duh.
Jackson, Swinson does. I think that's Jackson is. Ooh, Broncos are up.
Yep, they got Hampton in the first.
Wasn't even paying attention. Holy moly. I won't lie, man. If this happens like this, there's some guys that I want.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't hate them trading that.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. They could still use. I I don't trust Singleton to be back fully like healthy. I mean, he's older.
Yep.
I'd like to think Drew Sanders could be that guy next to Greenlaw once they actually he gets fully healthy, which I think he is, and they actually let him play that position and not like the little hybrid role he's been playing.
Yep.
I saw so much potential from him on his tape in college doing that I don't think they need to take Knight here, but definitely wouldn't hate that. Greenlaw has some injury stuff. I feel pretty confident with the Broncos. Obviously, they're like top 3 the past few years and not having a ton of injuries.
Avoiding injuries, yeah.
Maybe correct. That's a better way of saying it. Yeah, I don't think I would want Knight, and I love Knight. I I would have loved for Norman Mott or even TJ Sanders to fall in here.
Well, whose fault is that?
One of them is mine. So, yeah. One of them is definitely mine. Bushlinger was also my fault. He's not here. But anyways. Man, in real life, if they took Terrence Ferguson here, I wouldn't be mad.
Mm-hmm.
Even Arroyo or Taylor. All 3 of those guys. I definitely wouldn't be mad. Watts, I can still see. I just don't think we need safety. But I like Watts a lot. Besh, I guess, is probably the one that you're thinking of that I haven't named yet.
I mean, no.
You could use wide receiver still. I like Besh enough.
I could see Sean liking Restrepo more than Betch, personally.
Yeah, and it's not because of his 40 either. I just don't know if I'm going to take him round 2. I feel better round 3.
It's fair.
He feels like more of a round 2. Look, I would take Harris, Noel, and Royals, and Betch.
It's fair.
I like, and honestly, the way that Trey Harris likes to block is physical. I could see him being a Sean Payton type of wide receiver.
I could also just see Sean Payton saying, screw it and taking Jerry Wilson. It's early as hell, and I understand that.
Taking who?
Jared Wilson. To develop for a couple years.
Saturday, yeah. I mean, if they like him enough, I wouldn't be mad at it. He's a player that I like. Even guards, like Ben Powers, will probably not be re-signed.
Right.
He's solid, but he's like replaceable. You know?
Yep.
Definitely too long, but I'm struggling with this. I'm not gonna lie, the board fell in a weird way.
Yeah, it did.
Collins, I also wouldn't hate. CJ West, I wouldn't hate. So,
Yeah, Collins would be good.
Collins would actually be nice to think about that.
Yeah. I think he's better than where PFF has him ranked.
I agree.
Shocking, I know.
He's too far now.
That's happened to me about
I like
100
him
times.
more than. Yeah. You know what? After Collins.
Hook 'em, let's go.
Gotta add more Texas guys.
Mm-hmm. Malcolm Roach gets another hook 'em.
There we go.
Do you still have Malcolm Roach? I don't even know if you do or not.
Huh?
I said I don't even know if you guys still have Malcolm Roach or not.
Oh,
Honestly.
yeah.
Center, guard, edge, we did that stuff already. I don't think they would go Jared Wilson here. I could see them doing.
No, and I also think Samuel could play center.
Yes, but I'm saying if they don't, then they would need a
could
guard.
also
So like,
Right.
they need an interior offensive line. And I think that Wilson is clearly better than anybody else that's there. And I don't think any of the guards. I mean,
Well,
Donovan
actually,
Jackson maybe could
Jackson,
play guard.
No, he could. He is a guard. He only played. I don't know why
what
they
the
have him
hell?
listed at tackle.
Oh, I guess because he
He's
played
a
more
guard.
tackle this
He
year.
played tackle only because Simmons was hurt,
hurt.
and he had to. But he's gonna be.
I forgot
He's
about.
gonna be.
I forgot about Donovan Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's ridiculous that they have him.
Yeah, well, that made that decision
Could
a lot
he
easier.
do it? Sure, but he's
Yeah,
gonna play golf.
I mean, he did it this year, and he
He
obviously
did
did
it
well
in
enough.
college.
Right.
Yeah, but he's project. I mean, he has played only guard up until
Yeah.
this year. So anyway, I don't just hate how he's listed.
Yep.
Oh, you locked that in, didn't you?
Yep,
Okay,
I did.
sorry.
You're good.
All right. Donovan, Bucks are up. They took got A. Still need an edge. I'm gonna give him Braden Spencer. Cam Spencer's getting a lot of hype, and I've liked what I've seen from him so far. So.
Yeah, but Demetrius Knight, dude, would be sick in
Yeah.
the defense.
Yeah, it would. I still think. I think that they're gonna want an edge pretty bad.
Could
Just
see
because
it.
they signed a band-aid for a year. Still think they need a second guy pretty bad.
I agree. I agree for sure.
I'm also just lower on him. I don't think I like him a lot, but I don't know.
Packers took Revel in the first.
So, gotta go Jordy Nelson 2.0. I think we did that.
Yeah, I can see it.
Ish.
But tell me Jack Sawyer doesn't feel like the Packer.
He does. I can see that. JTT, I can see too.
Yeah, but, you know, the intangible assets here that Jack Sawyer brings to the Packers specifically.
Yeah. Fair.
Can also take Scadaboo as their AJ Dillon replacement.
Jared Ivey is.
You know what?
Oh,
I'm gonna take Jared Wilson.
They
They have Elton Jenkins listed as their starting center right now.
He should like that.
Agreed. Aaron Banks could probably play center, but they really don't have anybody else that I love at center.
Love it. I don't hate it.
So that's what I'm gonna walk in.
Don't hate it at all. Alright. Jared Wilson. Chargers are up. They took Loveland. Take another TCU wide receiver. They're gonna go Trent Harris.
I like that actually a lot for them.
Physical, yeah. Blocking type of guy too. Unfortunately, I hate it for me. I love it for
Right. Bills take Demetrius Knight, and I don't think they think twice about it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I agree. Panthers took Shamar. I like Darren Porter for them at corner, opposite of JC. Get him out.
Yeah, but JC Porter's too good. He takes away half the field. So that's why he's the highest paid.
Well, second now.
Oh, that's true.
I just don't think Restrepo's going this high. I think he's going to drop. Honestly, and I didn't think he was going this high. I think he's probably going to be pretty good. I think that they need another slot option when Thielen gone. I think Leggett, they're going to try to develop into that X.
Yep.
I'm going to give him Bash. I just think Bash can play all three wide receiver positions. I think it's just that.
I like that a lot.
At a position I need, yeah. He seems like a good Adam Thielen, like. Texans are probably a little mad. They probably would have liked him.
They would have loved him. And he would have stayed in Texas.
Yep.
But I think Jalen Noel is just also their type of wide receiver. Or
Yeah.
he's a compliment, I guess I should say, to the receivers that they have.
He can be what Mechie was supposed to be.
He could be what Tank Dell was supposed to be.
True.
To an extent.
True. Just take Tess Johnson then.
Well, I think when I'm looking at the Texans offense, they need a wide receiver, but they have Kirk and Collins, so I don't think they necessarily need a big frame guy. Tank Dell might not play this year. John Mechie might not play that much because he hasn't played very well when he has played. Barrios and Justin Watson don't move the needle for me. I think I'm just going to lock that in. Noel it is.
Yep, I like that.
And honestly, if they weren't deterred by the Restrepo stuff, I could see them taking that shot too. Restrepo's just a weird one. He can go anywhere from like the mid-second to me, anywhere through, like you said, round 3, 4. So,
Ravens went good old Amen Warrior to take Xavier Watts and just revamp their safety. No, they're probably going to take Princely and not think twice, but they could also take JTP and not think twice.
they could also take Shamar Turner and not think twice, frankly. They lost
They
Michael
could.
Pierce to retirement.
Indeed. I just think the other two guys are better players, unless the Patriots, the Ravens do.
Yeah.
Jordan
Jordan Phillips.
Jordan Phillips, I could see.
Keep him in Maryland.
Phillips.
It's definitely not the only reason I said it.
Jefferson. Why does he does feel like the lower edge guy?
Jared Ivey, I could
Excellent.
also see.
Jared Ivey, but yeah, he would play 3 technically, probably. Kind of a freak guy.
Fair.
I think it's Princeton.
Well, I need to be Princely so I can take Jack to the Lions at my next pick. And because I really don't want Jack
Okay.
Sawyer to be a Raven.
Run it. Run it.
Thank you.
I'll do it for you.
I appreciate
That was gonna
that.
take Sawyer.
I appreciate it. Jack Sawyer's a Lion.
Love that. I know the commies, the commander, sorry, took, whatever, the Redskins, I'll say it. Took,
Anderson was
canceled.
first.
Anderson, yeah.
This is YouTube. We might actually get canceled.
Well, it's a team name, so.
Hmm.
The, I like that. What do they need?
They could use edge.
I know, but I'm trying to think of like what kind of edge they could use.
They still haven't really replaced Chase Young. If Swinson had fallen, they would love that. I think.
Leave Farrell is who they have. Good for them.
And Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah. They need someone to put this hand in the dirt. I don't hate Ivy for their. I think it's going to be JTP though.
I could also see them taking a stab at Darian Porter.
Yeah, that was the first option, the first guy. So
Oh, oops.
I probably cut it right now. Because I don't know what Latimer's going to do for long term.
Right.
I'm going to go with JTT. It's just good draft.
I like it.
Good old JTT. And plus it's a Henderson teammate.
Also true.
Not that it really matters. But
No, definitely matters.
makes it
Calculated.
fun.
And the
Oh, dude, the Bills have to
Bills take Darian Porter, and they're
Yeah.
thrilled.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I think Darren Porter could. He's a weird one because he has a lot of work, but man, I like him better than Maxwell Harrison. Like, they're
Oh yeah,
close.
I mean Maxwell Harrison was a horrific pick.
No, but like
This is
he's
well
probably gonna go
established.
earlier than Porter, but they're closer. I gotta say the Chiefs, man. Kenneth Grant.
You gotta go tackle here. I think.
I don't think I have to.
I think you have to. Their tackles are so bad, dude.
But they paid for Jalen whatever more.
I don't care.
And there's just not a great tackle. There's a guy like
No. But does there need to be?
Marcus Bowe and Ozzy. I could see. I feel like Chiefs type tackle. Ursary, I'm weird about. I don't know. Jonah is a guard. I think Milam's probably better as a guard. Cameron Williams is pass.
Yeah, that's why he's a chief.
I should be mean, but I'm trying to not. Trying to be. Game scouted.
I hate that greatly for everything that I love. But I could see it. And the Eagles take
This is
Xavier
Aaron
Watts
Johnson,
to
too.
go with Aguka.
Yeah. But
He's
not
their CJGJ replacement.
Lenskis. Okay.
Even though they have Reed Blankenship, so I don't know where they actually play him, but he's too good for them to pass up.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, he needs to be a second. Okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Good stuff. There's a little bit of
Beautiful.
weird ones. But
A
I
very
like it.
weird one. This is something that might get deleted. This might get unlisted the second this goes up.
Just because I called Washington the
Well, no, because, I dipped into the Twitch. I don't remember what I said, but I said something that was not.
I don't know, man. If,
The Saints pick at 9. That's what I said.
oh yeah.
That was early.
If
too.
JJ. Yeah. If JJ Watt can go on national TV and call them that.
That
and
is
defend
true.
it, then I don't care.
But
I'm with
JJ
JJ
Watt
Watt.
never said anything about the Saints player here, so
Well.
we'll be right back. You know? Bum 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 ba-dum.
Hey. It's okay. All in good fun.
Yep, exactly. I like it, dude.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of time, but I do want to go through at least name one guy in each round that I like from you.
Let's do it the opposite way. Since we did such a weird draft this week, I want to hear one pick that you absolutely hate, besides Maxwell Harrison, because I know that that's the easy one.
Okay. Actually, like that a lot.
Not hate, but like name something that you're looking
yeah.
at. Because again, this week was weird with how we did things. So I want to hear your rationale.
I
Like
already
I can
know what you're gonna
understand,
say from
but
all
I
that.
want to see what you got to say. You know,
I'm pretty sure I know what you would say from me.
I'm not gonna say Tyler
Um,
Warren.
Okay, well, that's funny. That's what I was thinking. Because I already knew, but anyways. Which is weird, because I know you love
I love Tyler Warren.
Um,
I don't like it for various reasons, but that's not gonna be the one
I
I
know.
pick because
Fine.
I could see him going that high, and that's the reason I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah. Marion Hampton. Obviously. I am gonna go with. I'm gonna go through. I'm looking at mine. Man, I hate that, and I made that thing. No. So, I was gonna go with Michael with the Lions, and I don't dislike that. I just think they need more.
Oh shit! I took Mikel and fucking. I didn't even think about it. I took Mikel and Jack Silver.
Oh, well, that's my second round one. Sure, then.
Whoops.
So, yeah. I didn't notice that either. I could see them liking Michael, and I think it's a good. I think they want someone with a little more juice. Probably, but they don't have to because they have 80. So that's why it's a little ticky-tacky. I'm going to go with Tet to the Raiders.
That's what I
because-
figured you were gonna say.
Yeah, and it's less of, I know I hate Tet all of a sudden, so that's like an easy one, but I don't hate it. I just think that they have so many other needs that they could get away with not having a wide receiver with the reasons that we talked about while you were on the clock, like Bowers and Jacoby. Like they could afford to take someone round 2, and they, if Jancy's there, they should take Jancy over. They could take Will Johnson over him, and I think I would be fine with that. I might even like that better for them because I think they need a corner maybe even worse than a wide receiver. And then, I don't know, I just think they have other needs that I could see them going another way, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Yep.
And then my second round, probably, I mean, I don't hate this, but I guess Jared Wilson, but it was also kind of a reachy pick, and you knew it was a reachy pick. It was the first one that popped in my head, and I like Jared Wilson. I don't hate him going that high, but I think it's just a little high for me, and that's
Hmm.
it's more of it being too high for me than the fit. Like the fit is fine, and if it
Yeah.
happened and they had a good plan for him, sure. But I think there was other players on the board that they probably could have used more because their offensive line they can move guys around so much right now with like what they have that they probably could have just waited for someone else, or maybe he fell, or maybe whatever. But there was just some other like wide receivers there that they probably should have taken over Jared Wilson, but I don't know. Kind of ticky tacky.
No, I get it for sure.
All right,
Um,
rip me apart,
let's see.
and then I'll go.
Yeah, because you definitely ripped me apart by just saying I disagree with how high this guy went because I
Your
think he
picks
could
were
have done something
shit.
else. Um,
My picks were
hate Maxwell Harrison.
perfect.
I guess I'll
Think of
say Scorton.
Yeah, yeah.
Not because again, it's the same thing. He probably
Probably
went a little
early.
bit higher than he should have gone with some of the other guys that are there. Actually, no, Emin Wari because it's a Raven. I can't have that happen. That
Oh,
frustrates me to no end.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's fair. That's fair.
Scorton I like, and I think that he is a very Bengals type of player. So that's why I don't. It's hard
Yeah.
to really fault one way or the other. And again, we've already talked through that, but it
You,
becomes the same thing with like a guy like Emin Wari there, with a guy like Kenneth Grant. Because yes, I think honestly the Chiefs really should have gone tackle with Connerly still there and Banks still there. But with Kenneth
probably.
Grant being there, how do you not take him? Like it goes
Yeah.
both ways really.
Right.
Um, the second round it would be easy for me to say I hate Dart to the Browns, so I'm not going to.
I had to hurt you, huh? I
Uh,
should have just taken Sawyer to the Ravens. Just made it a trifecta.
yeah. There's nothing that I really didn't love.
I think I figured you were
Scatterboo
gonna
to the
say
Chiefs
Booker.
is probably going to be
Yeah.
what I would say, and it's not because it doesn't make sense. Booker just makes again. We talked about this before. Booker makes sense there, with the lack of depth at interior offensive line.
Yeah.
Where do they get? And do they need it? No, not necessarily. But
But they will probably next year. Like
but they will
it
probably
just
next year. And is next year's class better class for it? Maybe. Is there? Is it a
I don't really
necessity to
know.
rush it? Not necessarily, but it also doesn't hurt to have it.
It's a good floor player,
Right.
and you have an extra second round. So
Right.
oh, sweet.
So, yep.
I like it. Good shit, man.
Hell yeah. We will not be back next week
Yep.
unless we can figure out like Wednesday or some shit like that. Which we probably won't be
Yeah,
able
we can
to.
talk about it.
But we should be back the week after. What is that? The 10th.
Yeah, getting close, man.
The 10th,
So what?
and then we will not be able to do the 17th. I don't think.
So this might be the last one until we try to do like a longer one, huh? Like the 10th, and then unless we can't do one the week of the draft,
Yeah. Maybe we do the 11th instead and just do that. Our
do that Friday.
predictions
Yeah.
or something. Or we try to go live maybe the week of the draft, like you said.
Yeah. I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Sweet.
Maybe we do like a consensus draft on the 10th. Maybe we try to do, or the 10th or 11th. We go live one of those days and we try to do a consensus draft where you do like, I don't know if we want to push it to 3 rounds, but
If it's Friday, I could do.
right. That's why I'm thinking maybe. We'll talk about this off camera and figure it out. And then decide what we're going to do from there. But, yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for hanging out again, mister. I appreciate it.
Sir. Always have fun, even though struggling with my voice today. So, but it yeah, it was a like I said, it was a weird one, but I had fun.
I appreciate you pushing through.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm sure I just sound like our voice says RFK.
It's actually not that bad. Your voice isn't really that terrible.
Okay.
I can tell you're sniffly a little bit, but and a little
Yeah.
stuffed up, but
I've
I've heard worse. But all right, that'll wrap it up. Live just about 3 hours with everything, which is a good place to end off, I think. So, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Be safe, be well. Love you all. See you.